Yeah, that's Bugatti by Simon O, Jid, and Kenny Bates. Hot shit. Well, as you know, this is the Chocolate Mountain Show, and I am your super funky hero, one part of the Hero Twins, and I am activated. Hit me in my protons, baby. People to refer to me as mystical. I am 8 Win is timeless. I am the holder of the continuous ball game of the Hero Twins. It all starts with a gentle sadness. I am your galactic daddy-o, sitting deep in my galactic patio. From Minnesota to the universe. Get it up. Derek, what's happening? Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me. And as each night, it's hard to stop trying to be a part of the Wonderland Sierra Nevada Nation. This beer is 6.5 alcohol, 7.5 alcohol, baby. And if you like IPAs, this is not as bitter. This is what they call hazy, or they put that lemon or orange taste in it. And so, pop them if you got them. Smoke them if you want them. And I highlight the XL. I mean, I don't know. I mean, people like flour. Okay, that's all right. But let me tell you, I did half of this, and it's the 27th. I got this on the second or third, and all it was packed just like this other side, every day, constantly, and that's all I did. So, oh, and I've got a Gorilla Glue Shatter, and this is Tumble. I forget. I've had a Shocky Tumble. I forget what they call this Tumble. And I blow big stacks. So about an hour, we're waiting for the full moon energies to come in. And you know, one beautiful thing that you see, or that you should see or practice, is that the love you give out, really you should get it back. And I'm not talking about karma. I'm just saying that you treat people well, people will treat you well. And one of my friends from, well, I'll tell the whole story. So when I moved to Michigan, there was two boys that didn't have, their dads wasn't in the homes. They was living with their mamas. And they just gravitated. We hooped all the time. We just hung out. And I remember my friend that's now in Poland, he was like, damn, you got a sweatsuit for every day. And really, and it was like that Lecoq Sportif shit that LL Cool J was wearing. I mean, everybody was wearing that shit before LL Cool J, but it was that shit. You know, I had like all different outfits. It wasn't just the ones he had. It was a bunch of that shit. Just if you like sweats, again, being an athlete coming in the early 80s, my style of dress, part of my freshman year, my best friend was living in LA, and he just grabbed racks of those satin Adidas sweatsuits. And so when he was just a klepto kind of dude. And so my freshman year, that's all we was wearing. We was wearing them satin Adidas suits. And so when I come to Michigan, I'm still, you know, I'm used to just wearing sweats all the time because I was still hooping. Matter of fact, when I moved to Michigan, I started hooping more. So, James, what's happening? Thank you. Read my soul. What's happening? And I do have the Blondie. This is the acid. The acid is, it says Drew Estates, the rebirth, but I believe the acid. Yeah, this is the Blondie acid. Becoming one of my favorites to chew on. Yeah, that is a nice breed of nice mixture of the sweetness with the tobacco. So, you know, we got the full moon energies coming in. Went outside, took this crystal outside, and kind of just trying to manifest a little bit. Not too far from me is my medicine wheel. So I have my medicine wheel activated. And just getting back to my young friend, he was just showing me what he had created. He had went to Michigan from Poland, went back to see his family, his mother in Kalamazoo. And I said, well, there's this one place that I got crystals from, and she's still open, which I'm glad to hear. And he was showing me how he did his the world symbol, like kind of the world tree, like. And he had all those crystals, and he was like saying it's 6 a.m. there in Poland, where it's going to be 1 a.m. here. And so, again, giving me the love that I had given him of being a man, showing him what a man is. And if I haven't done anything else, my children see what a man is. And there was a saying when I went into A&T, and it said, "You got to fight even though you want to cry." And that resonated with me because that was it. I mean, football is damn sure that's it. Motherfucker may knock you down, and that don't mean you quit. You get back up, try it again. I got beat up when I was in 3rd grade. Went home crying, bloody nose. My father kicked me in my ass and said, go back and fight him again. Now, the outcome didn't change. He kicked my ass again, but I got a couple blows on him, but he became a lifelong friend. And he was a gangster. This nigga spent most of his life in jail. Matter of fact, his brother did 40 years, which I knew as well. But he became my man. He always had love for me, and he was proud. I mean, people don't understand when you go through your process and people see that when they was on the same thing as you, and then the thing kept going for you, they look back and it's like, well, you know, that's my man. My man is doing his thing. And they feel that rises them. Because I could see the way when people would look at me. Now, I know somebody the other day, and maybe I didn't mention this last night, maybe I did, and I'll mention it again. Somebody asked me the best time in my life. And yes, my children. And I'm going to say this story again to get to resonate how this goes. So I go home. I think it was my sophomore year. We'd won the Gold Bowl. I played on TV 4 or 5 times, and we'd actually won the Gold Bowl. And I go in this club. And my family's there. Now, before I go in the club, me and my cousin are just getting high. We're drinking tea and brandy. And I go in the club, and these people literally stand in line, like 15 people stand in line. My aunt walks in front of all of them for these people all to come hug me. My aunt walks in front of all these people. People that's in the club is looking like, who the hell is this motherfucker? Why did everybody stand up for him? I mean, in the middle of the club, all these motherfuckers lined up to hug me, to talk to me. And my aunt pushed them all away because my cousin was throwing a party. Just for me having that success. Where everyone that came up to me, hugged me, kissed me, shook my hand. And that love has always resonated with me. And that's why I told this last night. I want to tell it again because this doesn't happen all the time. And I had done something right up to that point for people to show me that love. And in some ways, of all the other things I've done, and my children being born, I only highlight that because it was an individual thing. It was different people coming up to me, showing me love, touching me, hugging me, embracing me. Nothing more because of me being me. Valerie, thank you for joining me. CJ, thank you for joining me. You couldn't see it? Okay, that's all right, baby. Oh, okay, you can see it. Okay. Yesterday, it wasn't as clear. The angle was kind of funny too. But I just was knowing what I'm looking for in the shape of the ear. And so, okay, it's okay. PJ, thank you. But yeah, CJ, I think today was much better showing it. I think someone who had mentioned we need to watch to see if they drop one. It wasn't in both ears. I did another angle of his other ear, and it wasn't in both ears. But again, what caught my attention was he threw the hidden hand. This is it was like out of bounds play or something. But he did the hidden hand, and I thought that's what caught my attention. I'm like, how did this cat know to do it? How did he know the camera was on him? That's what caught my attention. So I rewound it, and I just rewound it to where he was standing there, and I was like, oh shit, this is a way better angle than the other one that I did yesterday of Macklemore. I'm like, this is way better. And that's what caught my attention, though, because he did the hidden hand. And so the news are in on it. That's why Anthony Mason's like, I don't care if you report on it. He's just busting up doing it. He's telling you he's sold out. And that's what caught my attention, though. Like, how did he know to do the hidden hand? And this is another thing that almost makes me think all the NBA games and shit is freaking the shit on the TV, the video game. How is it that when dudes get on the big screen, they stare up at the big screen? Why is that? I got the University of Minnesota coach, Stir the Boat, the dude who was at Western Michigan before. This dude is shown on the big screen and does duck lips. His first year with the Gophers, maybe 18, 19. He literally did the Facebook duck lips on national, well, maybe not national TV. Might have been Big Ten local, I'm not sure. But he's on the big board on TV and he does duck lips. I don't understand that. You're on TV all the time. This motherfucker has his own show. So it almost like, why would you look at yourself on the big screen when you playing, you constantly on the big screen? I don't understand that. And all of them do it. And I don't understand why. Hey, Jay, thank you. Same to you. Thank you for the kind words. Glad I see the game for what it is. People take this stuff way too seriously. Well, I mean, people rely. There are people that are professional gamblers, and they rely on what they think the best information is to be successful. I'm gonna do some father stuff. Whoops. I'm gonna do some father stuff. I'm gonna throw my shoe at this cat because she's trying to get in my closet. Okay. And so that's what I don't understand. That's why I don't understand. I'm on vacation, chiming OG, Vegas life for a couple of days. Birthday tomorrow. Well, early happy birthday to you. Early happy birthday to you. Many more. Enjoy your day. I'm sorry I said happy birthday. I really meant to tell you enjoy your day. You know, enjoy your energy day. All of us. Give him some love. Give PJ some love. That earbud was really sticking out. Can't believe he never noticed that before. Well, yeah, it was something that I looked at it, just didn't make sense. None of it made sense. Just some of the actions of the players did not make sense. It had to be that earbud thing. I mean, you go back to when Ernest Bider supposedly got the ball knocked out when nobody else was doing that play. He had to be in compliance with it too. He had to hold it a certain way because really the defensive player was kind of at his left. So when he faced him, it really should have been away from him, but he carried it kind of towards his body and dude just poked it out on the one. Now those are two of the biggest fake plays of all time. The Tuckaroo and Ernest Bider getting it poked out. Those two plays were totally some of the biggest scripted plays of all time. You caught him red. Yeah, Valerie. I think I did too. I think I finally showed what I've been talking about for all these years. Is that again, you look at J.R. Smith and why he missed that shot. And when LeBron asked him why he didn't shoot, he says clearly, we up. I thought we were winning. Now, I don't know a point where my career and all the games, even as a little boy, where I didn't know the score. All through high school, I kept my points in my head. My brother kept my rebounds and my assists. But I always kept my points. Always. I don't think I ever got out of not knowing how many points I had in the game, and I definitely would know the score. But that really proved to me that we're dealing with earbuds, but other situations as well. And that's the easiest way to communicate to everybody. Now, people wonder how it's fixed. That is the easiest way to fix it. Yay or nay. Special team players run down. Dave, you need to go hold. Dave, you need to block in the back. The special team people are holding on to their jobs. The second and third string people, they ain't really playing plays. They just on them teams. You think they won't do it in a second? They understand the game. And so and it's a goal to all this. The goal is to make them do what they made wrestling do. What is the difference between wrestling and that? Why did they go after wrestling in the same entertainment license these other team sports hold? It's no difference. No difference. No difference. And what was the guise of wrestling for a long time that is real? Wasn't it? I think it wasn't until 2000s that they took them to court. Now, it could have been before, but I don't think so. I think it was like 2000 and something. You probably have to look that up. But all those other years, they was portraying it as real. Portraying it as real. Hey, Mr. T Gaming, thank you. Sosa, what's happening? They're going to delete your channel again. They love the hell out of them. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Valerie. Jay, like when Tom Brady lost the game this past season because he thought it was third down and fourth down. Exactly. Never forget. Flesh controlled earpieces and refs, how you can rig it. If you right, yeah, you can. Do you think that's why they rewarded J.R. Smith with another ring? Absolutely. 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 They have put him out the league. No, let me take this back. He got cut or waived or released. Now, NBA contracts is guaranteed. Just because if you don't buy them out, you still paying them. They still was paying this dude. That's what I'm trying to tell people about Kaepernick. Kaepernick set out 2 seasons and still got paid. And football is way less guaranteed. But Ryder, Cleveland released him or whatever Cleveland did and was still paying him. He had been out the league almost 2 years. And then they bring him in the bubble. He didn't play that much, but they brought him in. So, yeah, he got rewarded. Everyone on the Lakers be doing it. Do you think Rodgers will get another ring? Hey, Preston, thank you for joining me. I don't see them. They didn't put Favre. Favre was a better quarterback than Bart Starr, but Bart Starr won 2 Super Bowls. I want to say 5 NFC championships. Maybe I'm wrong, but let me see. They lost in 60. 4 NFC championships. I'd have NFL, excuse me. He won something like 6 titles, I think. Maybe you have to look it up. He won the first 2 Super Bowls, but I want to say they won 5. They lost. The Bears won in 64, but I want to say they won 62, 63, 64, 65, and then the first Super Bowl was 66, 67 season. So, yeah, I think Bart Starr won 5. So they're not going to be anywhere near him. So Rodgers could win another one just to put him above Brett Favre because of the way he left. But maybe, I don't know. I can't say. They're not. He's never going to be Bart Starr. So I think that's what they're. So if they give him another one, they ain't going to put him above Bart Starr. And Bart Starr already got a statue up there already. So I don't think, does Favre have a statue up in Green Bay? I don't think he does. He only won the 1 title. Rodgers, I think Rodgers is going to stay tied to Favre. I don't see them putting him above Favre. And again, his time was they were going to beat the Saints. They had the Saints. He would have been put out because they purposely broke his ankle and they called a penalty in the next play. The next play, they did it again. They broke his ankle on the second. Okay, so they did a roughing the quarterback. Very next play, they broke his ankle, and they didn't call anything. He stayed in. That's when he threw the interception, trying to throw to Rice. But they didn't call anything, and he actually had his own ankle broken, and they didn't call it. It was the same kind of play. So I don't know. I doubt that they're going to put Rodgers above him. I just don't think so. J.R. Smith sacrificed his best friend. That does not surprise me, Jason. That does not surprise me at all. Rodgers looked like he was about to bust in tears the whole to the NFC. I noticed it straight away. Wow. I want to see Rodgers win. I just don't see them putting him above Favre. I really don't. I think they want to keep him equal to Favre. Like the Dak year, the year Dak won, and they had them knock him out. You know, I mean, Packers wasn't supposed to win. And Rodgers threw a money pass, first down, right, like out of bounds. It was like one of the most perfect passes ever, whereas nobody but dude could catch it, and the pass was like right it out of bounds. So, I mean, they let him, you know, that knocking Dak out that year. They didn't, Rodgers, I don't think he won it that year, but again, they moved him on. I don't think so. I really don't. Green Bay, just like, again, you got to think of ratings. When you look at all of it, you got to think of ratings. And like the years they let the Atlanta go in, they knew they took a ratings hit. Look at the NBA. All those years they let San Antonio win, those were some of the worst ratings in NBA history. When you had the Pistons in San Antonio, you know how no one cared. And so even though San Antonio won, they won 5, no one cares. It's not really remembered. And the rating, it did nothing for the ratings. It was paying back those franchises. It was pushing the foreign players' agenda. Yeah, my cats are going crazy because of the full moon. And it's exposed, so I got all my windows open, or not open, but, you know, curtains out. Yep, Mallory, he did. I remember seeing that. Why is it so hard for a brother to get their money in the NFL, NBA, and overseas players get big contracts? The NFL makes the most money, and the NFL has the worst union contracts. Now you have to blame. Let's say who did it when the NFL went on strike. Look at the players that betrayed the rest of them. Montana, LT in the midst of being strung out. This cat was strung out. He was a cokehead, and they cut off his coke money. LT couldn't wait to break the picket line. And so this is who you have to blame for the NFL having such a weak and ineffective union. Baseball has the best union. The dudes stuck together. They let them lock the stadiums. They're like, okay, lock them. And in the union contracts of the minor leagues, they couldn't be scabs. So they couldn't just go into a pool like the NBA or like football could and just bring in scabs. Baseball has a union hierarchy. So it worked against them, the owners. And so they don't bring as much money because what dilutes baseball is all the games. Football, they pushing for more and more games, but it's only 17, 18 weeks. The players want to do away with preseason, which is really another way to get hurt. It is another way for the owners to make money. That's all it is. That's the only reason they have preseason. They ain't got nothing to do with getting players ready. No. Players are getting a per diem during the preseason. That's it. Their contracts don't start till the season starts. Now they get their roster bonus when the NFL season kicks in. If you ain't cut, you get a roster bonus. We're coming next week. I think the 5th is when the players like Wentz. That's why they got rid of Wentz when they got rid of him. He was guaranteed 20 million, 20 plus. I think it was almost like 30 million. So that's why you're seeing the moves made now of all the people getting cut, is because when the NFL season starts back up and they still on the team, they get their roster bonus. So that is why it's been like that. Do you think that Des Bryant catch with the Packers was scripted? See, that's a way they do scripted. Remember, early in that season, Calvin Johnson had caught one in the early season, and Calvin caught it, and then he landed with the ball down. So Calvin went high to catch it, and when he came down, he caught the ball, and when he came down with the ball, he landed with the ball down. So he had it in his hand, but he landed with the ball down, and that right there, and somebody that the league has turned on, but again, he was a kiss ass, was Chris Carter. Chris Carter said, that's no catch. You got to catch the ball through the end of the play. That's what he did. It's just he happened to land with the ball. He caught it. He caught it. And when he came out of it to land, he just put the ball, he went ball down. That set the precedent. And Dez did basically the same thing. Dez was a catch. Dez was a catch. It was a catch. But under those rules, how they could fix it, because Dez kind of did a similar ball down. But Dez's wasn't even that weak. Dez caught himself, took a step, and then went ball down. So Dez's was a little different because Dez made a football move and then just went ball down. But under the precedent they had set at the very beginning, that's why they had the Calvin Johnson play. That was the very beginning of that season. They was trying to show you if something else came like that, they was going to call it incomplete. But let's go back to where they robbed Detroit with Dallas. Clearly holding the Detroit tight end for the tight end to go in to score. No call. Look at how they did with the Packers this year. All the game, holding is allowed. The whole game, holding the receivers. Grabbing jerseys is fine. And then when it's time for Brady to win in the last 5 minutes, no call. Blocking the back, no call. The announcers highlighted, say that was a good block. When the play is being shown, the announcer's like, well, that looks like a block in the back. Then 2 minutes later, when it's not overturned or nothing, well, that was a good play. That's how they do it. You think Jerry Jones is shamed? Nah, Jerry won what, 3 Super Bowls in 5 years? Nah, Jerry won them. Look how quick he won them. He won them like in the first 4 or 5 years of his ownership. So he was paid. So Jerry knows. I mean, Jerry wasn't worried. Jerry built $1 billion stadium without any loans. So do you think he ain't like what Vegas just did? He built it on his own. So he gets all the bread. Players get the TV money. So he got 3 of his rings. So you see, he may act, and he's getting older. His son is around my age and starting to take over. Well, no, I mean, he understands. They gave him his money. They gave it to him already. Are the numbers the world's first language because numbers are everywhere? No. Let me see what time it is. Okay. Got to keep track because 1:12 is about to come upon us. So, okay. Just to give everybody an example to help their imagination. In the movie Lucy, when they show matter, and they try to show that matter got activated, and that's what caused supposedly the Big Bang. Okay. So let's just put ourselves in, the first kind of motion or the first movement of creation. Well, what you have to look at is you're going to have sound first. There's going to be a sound. And from that sound, you're going to get colors. And from those colors, that is when the numbers would come in. That is when the numbers would come in. And it's very much, I've said this over and over again, creation is very much like triangular numbers. Triangular numbers have so many different aspects of the way you can use them looking at creation. Again, from this book right here, when I talk about doing the charts, it's the same kind of thing. So you can really take it back as, do you want to look at the colors, or do you want to listen to the sound, or then when the numbers came in? So it's really how you resonate on what started it, or what started a certain vibration that moved through, that now we supposedly in a way call creation. So I guess the question is, as a language, all of them can be looked at as a type of language. But it's only so many going to understand the first two. I mean, it does say, you can find copies that say in the beginning it was the word, and the word was a number. It switched to, and the word was good, and the word was the good. But there's some copies that say the first word was a number. And numbers definitely look at is getting through the grid of all this into the true blue. I guess that's what I have to call it, the true reality. When you break through, there's a numeric patterns that you see. Like when you get right through, if you want to say the edge of the veil, you start seeing these freaking numbers. And then when you bust through, it's the real blue, the real reality. And this is from your perspective of total darkness going into this. But you get to seeing those geometric patterns and numbers, like the Matrix. It is a lot like what they show the Matrix when the patterns is going down, except it's just a constant patterns of numbers switching and numbers moving. My mother's stone over there, the first time I grabbed it, I closed my eyes and whoop, right there. My face is right against it. I'm like, oh shit. She pushed me right here. So you get to seeing that, you pretty close. You are pretty close. Power Boy's going Tiger Strong. Let me see. Oh, you think Jerry? All his butt kissing just for Chris Carter to be fired from First Things. Yeah, exactly. People don't like Chris Carter. They really don't. I met him a couple times. Can't say yay or nay. They use a lot of his shit. Come on, man. They still use that on ESPN that he started. That come on, man. That was his shit. And he didn't copyright it. And they still use his stuff. Kevin Mack used to be in the Project DTW Cleveland smoking straight drop. Wow. The refs robbed the Packers when they intercepted the end zone against the Seahawks, and they called it a TD. Yeah. Maybe Tiger Strong. Cowboys going to 56 versus Pittsburgh. They say they're bringing Ben back, but that salary cap hit. They already talking about redoing his contract, but that salary cap hit $30 million for him. And the way he's played the last few seasons, don't see it. Don't see it. Well, again, going back to Lucy, and I don't know how true that is, but in the Lucy movie, they were saying we only use like basically 10%. And they were showing you how even dolphins are, in some ways, are more aware of us. Another animal that uses a lot of its brain is pigs. A pig's nose is more sensitive than a hound dog. A pig is smarter than most other kind of creatures like it. So we use very little. That's why I was saying, even with us, again, we're taught to use the left side of our brain. That is what this culture, that is what the religion, that is all what it feeds to, is our left side of our brain. And you really do have to practice to activate the other side. Through your knowing, through your imagination, you really have to say, hey, I need you to open up. It's really almost like that. You really have to will yourself to say, I know more in there can work than what they're giving me. The biggest thing is with the way they're doing this time, and the time really going from millions, we down to what, 2,000 something. Do you see how the regression is? They lie and think time is really going down. We really know less. Our technology is way less, even with this artificial thing that's come in. This thing we're on is so ancient that the space gets filled with many kind of different things. And finally, this wicked thing we're caught in. So I've seen that before. Green numbers that made up on my TV. Okay, read my soul. So yeah, we don't. Humans can use up 10%. I think. Fortunately, most people in the world use only about. Yeah, you don't use much. Teron said that Chris Carter begged his way into the Hall of Fame. I don't know. Let's be fair to the brother. The brother was only under Jerry Rice in almost every way. So I didn't. This dude was coked out in Philadelphia and got cut. Drunked out, coked out. And so he did the fake thing that he did religion. Yeah, that was all fake. But he would catch his TD and then point up. Who the fuck you pointing up to? That shit was so satanic or devilish, whatever word you want to use, because it didn't mean what you want to say or what you would think. But that showed my fakeness. However, with saying that, he did put up the numbers. He did put up the numbers. You got to give him that in receptions, yards, touchdowns. He's up there just under Jerry Rice. That's why Jerry technically is the best football player that ever played. There's no quarterback or anyone that really, they want to say that Brady outshadows because of championships. But if you look at the stats, Jerry Rice is like the Wilt Chamberlain of football. Touchdowns, receptions, yards, and won 2 Super Bowls. So I don't know. I don't know if that's fair to him. Are they going to kill Tiger? Wow. I said this last night, and I still believe this. I still believe this. Whatever hurt him the first time when they caught, he was professionally beat up. And the job they did on him, they permanently hurt him. Don't believe that he got all these knee injuries. No. It was like this cat was strong, was lifting weights. And all of a sudden, he getting these injuries after they took him down. They did the shame ritual. But he didn't just do the shame ritual. They beat him. Then no woman do all that to him. No woman beat him the way they found him. He was escaping for his life and not from no damn woman. So, friend on here, and I don't know if he wants me to say his name or not, so I won't do liberties, but if he pops in, then I'll definitely acknowledge him. But he was saying how another a gentleman that had played some of the game, and they killed him in a brand new car, them cars that can drive by themselves. I mean, as I said the other night, it doesn't make sense. His story makes no sense. Wasn't like he was on a major city street. Now, they use the guise of saying the winding roads, but anybody that is driven around that area, the hills, it's called the hills. A lot of hills out in LA, Orange County. That it's this winding roads. This man, 40-some years old, he went to school at Stanford. He'd been in California since he was in his 20s. He's been out in that area multiple times. So you telling me one time the car just took off on him? No, they tried to kill him again. Now, let's be honest. When he won the Masters, they fixed it for him. They fixed it for him. Phil Nicholson, if you want to think if the PGA is fixed, just look at Phil Nickelson's career. If he ain't winning, he one of the worst golfers that play. Not making the cut, being the last if he make the cut. He is one of the worst golfers in history if you look at his whole career. Because when he doesn't win, this dude is the worst golfer out there. So some kind of way, Tiger got their attention, yeah. And they tried to take Tiger out. And you would think that he would have a lot of allies by this time in his life to stop that kind of thing. But again, somebody didn't get paid, and he has made some kind of enemy. And he doesn't have the right protection for whatever reason. The first thing, when my cousin saw that on my page, I showed that. My cousin said, "Why is he driving?" And that's absolutely right. Why the fuck were you driving? And in a brand new model, brand new car? Why are you driving? That made no sense that he was driving. It just didn't. So, yeah, they went after him. Next time, they'll try to kill him. I mean, we can even look at Kobe's thing like that. Did they try to kill Kobe then? I don't think so, but you can still look at it in the realm of possibility. Were they going after him then? Because we live. That's why I get over again and again and again about the Capitol. They got killers. They talking about Slow Joe and Sister Girl done bombed Syria because a contractor got killed. Blackwater contractor got killed. U.S. citizen, maybe. We don't know for sure if he was a U.S. citizen. He was a professional soldier. He knew the risk. I don't feel sorry for him. He knew the risk. But that gave you the right to bomb over there? We just know the Democrats and all them war hawks. Biden and them is with Hillary, and she was a war hawk. So, he didn't look too happy. I'm sorry, there was a question. I'll answer it. I'm sorry, I missed it. Who's going to be the Cowboys quarterback? That is up in the air. Dak wants $40 million a year, which he'll probably get. But with Watson and Wilson, both of them are under contract. Wilson has another year. Watson just signed his contract. There's nothing he can really do other than his script. He's locked in. Now they try, it's funny, they're trying to put the narrative, is he going to do what Harding did, not try? I mean, all the games are scripted, so what does it matter? He doesn't have much around him. and now Wilson's saying he's feeling shamed, and Wilson makes what isn't Wilson? No, Wilson's not the highest paid because Patty Mahomes is, but isn't Wilson the second or third? It don't matter what the fuck is around you, just do your damn job. You won a Super Bowl, you threw a Super Bowl on purpose. You make the most money for a little dude. Russell Wilson, what, five? My brother's 5'10", and I got a picture of him and Russell Wilson. My brother's about 5'9", 5'8", maybe 5'10" at the tallest, but I don't think so. Because him and my son are about the tallest. So maybe they're 5'9.5", 5'10". But my brother and Russell Wilson like this. And my brother's slightly taller. So Russell Wilson, a little dude. So it doesn't, it's scripted. So what does it matter? It doesn't matter your team. It's scripted. Watson has no leverage, but they're trying to create this. So again, do they want to switch one of them? The Cowboys take Watson, or the Cowboys take Russell and trade Dak? So it makes no sense. It makes no sense. Either Watson or scripted comeback for Dak would make great story, but Wilson was shown on the TV sitting next to Roger Goodell. I think the most recent. Yes, he was. He was up in their box. But, and that didn't make sense to me either. And I talked about it at the time because the NFL awards was the night before. So why was the Man of the Year done during the Super Bowl? Now, maybe they've done that in the past. Again, I don't remember. I can't really say I remember they did that in the past. I don't know. They could have been. I just thought it was odd. Why take the time to do that? So that could be a good point setting up next year. It makes sense that they are going backwards. That's why they flip time and inverted things. Yeah, read my soul. Definitely. We was into the billions of years. Now we at 2000. So yeah, we're not going up in time. He didn't look too happy sitting there either. Wilson complaining about getting hit too much, and Dak got scared, sacked a lot. The old needs some work. Yes, that old line that he drafted years ago. The center retired. The left guard got hurt. So, the Cowboys ain't any better. keep track of time. Give myself a little more room. Was that 103? Okay. So yeah, very much could be so. Look at Sister Girl. Yeah, that my mother gets mad at me. I call Joe Slow Joe and Sister Girl. Look at John Rahm's ridiculous hole in one. They were showing us yeah, definitely. What wasn't the new Genesis? Yeah, the new Genesis truck though. Not just the Genesis truck. Yep. Chris Carter is a legend for saying bapping. Sister Girl, that's right. Manning Day was blocking your live from me. Wow. Spirit kept telling me you were talking, and I was wondering why I couldn't find you. I thought I was tripping. Wow. Hey, Starfleet, thank you for joining. Peace to you. I have a feeling even though black celebrities go into them rooms, somewhere they can still live after. So they must kill them. Kind of like, hey, normalizing. Thank you. Rig Sports picks on my channel. Okay, Didi. I'm sure your channel's bigger than mine. I only got 600 subs, baby. I only been going for 5 weeks, so I don't know why you need to get publicity over here, but I ain't mad at you. Watson should put in a fake retirement. Well, look at what Bell did. And Bell ended up taking an offer worse than what was given to. He took a worse offer. They put a better offer that he could have took. But see, they did it on purpose. They did that on purpose because of so he could come back and they could shame him. It's like, well, look what good's sitting out a year. Look at what they shamed Brown. Brown got all that money, and then all of a sudden Brown gets all this shaming. Nope. And then he gets the Super Bowl. So do you see how they did it? Brown had weeks to get 80 million non-guaranteed. And again, if you want to know what guaranteed money is, it means they put money in the bank. It's already in the bank, all of it. Baseball players, when the season starts, they put all their guaranteed money in the bank. You ain't drawing money from the league. The league is forced to put money in the bank. That's what guaranteed means. Regular dudes just get regular checks from the team. I think the NFL still gets paid on Tuesdays. Guaranteed checks come from the bank. Dak sacrificed his brother, definitely. And remember, his brother was in the commercial with him. Let's not forget that. His brother went in that soup commercial with him. Yeah. Dak is not a very good player, though. I'm not sure they would have him in that position. He could mess up the script. He's decent. He played decent at Mississippi or Mississippi State, whichever one. The Great Oil was hurt by hella injuries. And then what was his name? Fredrickson, the center, all-pro center, retired. BJ was worse than Philly. BJ. We had 104. Yeah, 107 is 112. The energy's about to come in at 112. So I got everything set up. So, but the full moon will peak at 112. So we got a couple minutes. He definitely Valerie. Yeah, no doubt about it. And remember, his brother was in that commercial, that soup commercial. So you're in the soup commercial, and every time they play the soup commercial, you get a little bit and you kill yourself. Doesn't make sense, but we see how they do. They had him removed allegedly. Dak got that magic last name, Prescott. Ooh, Derek, good one. 322. They blackballed Bell. He should have been the highest paid player the way that the offense used him. Highest paid back, definitely, and he's not. What's the dude from Dallas, from Ohio State? He's the highest paid black. Antonio Brown under Monarch programming. I would imagine that, remember they said he was living with Brady, so Brady's Brown's handler. So he got in line. Brady was his handler. So he's under it. Yep. Frederick. Yep, Jay. I know his brother was sacrificed. Definitely, Dak's brother was definitely sacrificed. No other way to look at it. No other way to look at it. You're in a commercial and then you supposedly kill yourself. Again, what they say? David, we don't believe your story. Which part? Remember JFK? He's like, David, we just don't believe your story. David was down to the very end. Which part? He was still trying to negotiate. So, I would say if you got your blinds closed, you should open them. Let these moon rays come in. The moon is it's clear up here. Again, this doesn't guarantee you anything, but it is a spiritually way to connect to energies that's free. Simulated or not is something that does have a reaction to the world. This lake under here, just like the rivers and the oceans, this moon makes them same motion. The same waves that you see an ocean, you see here in the local lakes. So the moon does have an effect. I mean, a lot of your menstrual cycles go with the moon. So again, whatever that is up there does have an effect. Now, you may not connect to another one of the planets, but this is something that about 15 days out of the month that is there for you to manifest. At least you can say, I'm closer to that. Let me try to take my consciousness there to see what's really up there. And I am a Cancer too. I am a Cancer. Did you watch the Britney Spears documentary? They admit to a lot of truths, even Britney handlers. No, I did not. Vincent Jackson was the most obvious Super Bowl sacrifice. He was amongst, it was like 24, 25 this year. It just, where they're dropping these bodies, I feel sorry for Britney because they're controlling her every move. How did the court, this woman, 30 years old, how do the courts tell you at 30 you can't control your money? At 30 years old. How are they still saying that somebody needs to control your money? You see the setup they did. They put Federline in her life, had kids, and then she took care of him the rest of her life. He purposely treated her shitty to get paid, to take the children away. And they're still fucking with this woman in her 30s. And what was she saying? I don't need the children. Why am I getting you rich? That's how she was getting them back. She wasn't touring. But I think, didn't she get a big contract in Vegas or something? They basically own her. If she gets even more valuable, they will own her. Yeah, they basically own her. But if she gets free even more, vultures will try to get on her. Yup. The military's hands on a lot of things. Definitely. Had her bald headed looking crazy. Definitely. All right, guys. I'm not going to answer any more questions for a minute. So as the energy is hitting now, give me a minute to do my thing. See if I can get the sound a little better. Forgot to say I got incense burning. Keep an eye on that damn thing. I was wondering how long that would hold up. My daughter done tied all these boxes together. They have ties, and I know my daughter did this. Oh, that's funny. It's like any of this information. It's not meant to change your life. Tomorrow you're going to wake up, it's going to be the same. But what it does highlight is it highlights something that's free, that's given. And as a part of magic, this is something that's been a part of magic for a long time. Now, definitely you can say that all this simulation, that the me or the my set up that as well. We can argue that. But they want to throw in the free will. The machine threw that in. And so we do have some type of will to try to strive and make our spiritual connection stronger. Because this seems to be the only thing that you really can have that is real, is your spiritual connection to all. And so we see times like this, and we know others are feeding. Because this is one of the few things that will feed your soul. And there's others that do it. And so why should we be excluded from something that millions participate in, that millions could plug into and get something out of it? And so I say we should get something out of it as well. Just as I say, when you close your eyes and you start seeing ancestors or whatever resonates around you, all you have to do is recognize it. And so that's what we're doing. That's why I do this. I don't let any of this go by. I feed on this. Oh, my incense. Definitely got to get that. Couldn't let that keep burning. Burn my floor. And so I just take my time out to give freely, to share energies with everyone. Where they say turn up and turn on. Well, this is a natural energy way of turning on. And so I just want everybody to take a minute and think for yourself, what are you trying to manifest? What will give you joy? Despite all this that's in your way, where can you find joy? Just in this moment. That's all we're looking for. Where's your joy come from this moment? And then put that in your imagination and think, what would be that perfect moment? What can give you the most joy that you can put into your imagination right now? And let that build, let that grow in your heart. As the witch says, love her above, definitely. And that's all. That's all. Love that moment. And if you can make that moment grow, then make it grow. Because the moment is really all you have. All right. Thank you guys for putting up with me. What have I missed? Yeah, Brittany got a big contract in Vegas. Big as Jezebel. Had the bald headed looking like a hot mess. Where did you get those sound instruments from, Ariel? And I was hoping to go to my magic shop, but my daughter wasn't up to it after we left the hospital the other day because the hospital's right by there. And I got the big bowl from that. My blue bowl, my blue and red bowl I got from Kalamazoo. It's White Road, I think, on Kalamazoo. These drums I bought from the same place. Can't think of the name. Moon in Kalamazoo. I bought these drums from. And and I have tuning forks, but the tuning forks don't really come over. Cymbals you can find anywhere. I mean, cymbals are pretty, you can find them anywhere. Again, I bought them in Kalamazoo. My son, this is my mother gave my son the Buddha bell. And there are just certain energies that don't like it. You know, you can push a lot of energies away, messing with sound. And so it's just a way, again, I really don't practice chakras, but I know that sound, again, had to do with creation. With my big bowl, I told you one time it pushed me out of my body. I wasn't even trying to leave my body. I was just trying to meditate and just hit that sucker, and that note came and I grabbed that note and it just literally, the note pushed me out. So when you ask, how do you leave your body, something like that can push you out of your body. Now, I can't say, that you purchase it, it would happen to you. I can't guarantee that. But I'm saying something like that, it's possible. That is my point. It is possible that something like that can affect you. So I work with this kind of stuff all the time. I do have my medicine wheel going. I got to send my friend in Poland a picture of my medicine wheel and show him how I put it up. And so, I do give thanks to the directions when I'm outside. Even though I've taken the other chair out and I've still got a little more room, it's still not enough room to really fully do thanks to the directions. And so that's why I was just trying to get a little understanding of how to manifest. So that's all. Well, thank you, Read My Soul. This bowl is making my spider senses okay. So thank you. That energy resonates over here. Well, I thank you guys, and that's why I do it. Because I enjoy this all the time. And so I do it to bring this in. Again, it's 3 days before and 3 days after that energy's there to tap into. And so be whatever this thing is. When the moon comes in these phases, my cats have been going crazy. Last night I was watching, I was trying to throw something at it because I could just hear them going crazy. So there's something slightly to this. And so why shouldn't we take a piece of the pie? Why should we let this go by? Something free that you don't have to pay for. And that's why they really don't want you. A lot of times, like when we had the Great Conjunction, it was cloudy. They clouded it up for me because they knew I was in visual range with it, it was even going to come in stronger. So they clouded it up. A lot of times that's what they do when these things come. Because you can just look up and you can see that there's a dance. There's a dance that has been predicted where you can look back thousands of years and you can look forward. And it's going to be where they say it's going to be. It's no doubt. The dance is that they have it charted that accurately. That's why when they say that there was certain phenomena that the people saw back in these days, well, if it had the stars and the planets, they can look back at this thing and say, well, yeah. Well, you're welcome, Valerie. I try to put my effort into it. I try to push the energies to those that can use it. And instead of just letting this go by and not anybody tapping into it, because that's what most people do. Most people won't even tap into it. Something that's free to tap into, especially manifesting, especially magic. Let me throw this in at you. And this is a part of magic to understand. And really, the first, the magicians pointed this out. You look at the episode of Magicians where they have the bear and they go into luck, and the brother with the afro. I think it's season 2, episode 3 or 4. And he tells them, when you bring in this luck, you have to have an exhaust to take away the bad timing. And so a couple of them have this bear, and the bear goes into them, and they suffer, but the rest of their crew don't. And that's why I'm saying, like this morning, I get up, and when I leave to go take care of business, this is again food day, so I spread food around on this day. And as soon as I go out there, there's a cop giving my goofy neighbor a ticket. And I just laughed to myself because I was like, okay, it's free sailing for me because this is my exhaust. The thing that could have threatened me got hurt. And the thing with driving that you have to understand, some days it's good you get caught by red lights. Pay attention to the timing. Because it's all about your position where you are. And I'll replay this story. So I get stopped by all these lights. I get about 10 miles from home and I see somebody pulled over. I'm like, that's the exhaust. If I wouldn't have caught the lights, that would have been me. I would have been in their timing. Because making all the lights, I could have been driving a little faster than what I should have. And so that's part of manifesting too. The bad timing has to go somewhere. Well, thank you, Sosa. Is a bowl called the Tibetan Bowl? Yeah, they're all called Tibetan bowls. This one isn't necessarily the most expensive one, but the more expensive ones are shaped like this with nothing on them. Now, the rest of these that I have, and it's not that they don't have value, but it's just when you get serious in this stuff, these are more tourist. And it's not that they don't do the job, but these are more tourist ones. And even this big one. And this big one is good with the fractals and all. But again, you get some of the bigger ones. They don't have the fractals. But that's the Virgin in the middle. You see that? This is my first thing of ever dealing with Virgin energies. And as you see, they call it the trident, but this is a little different than the trident. Because that is this and this. But yeah, so And now the big bowl, what was really cool is I bought the big bowl from the magic shop, and the magic shop has nothing but incense. I mean, incense. And if you are alchemist, it's got everything in there to make different chemicals and formulas. But for a long time, it smelled like those incense. It was really cool when I first got it because it was like the incense smell was in the metal. It had been there so long. I just not. Thank you, brother. I find some bowl sounds instrumental. Hopefully. Okay, Ariel. I'm just not starting to understand my evil side. I am not fearful and I understand bad things. I need it now. There's a new thing. It says I'm down with my demon. That's how you have to be. You can't turn away from what you are or what part of you are. And it's just accepting that part of you, that's that. I think Super Sly really did say it the best. Super Sly said, I don't want to get rid of all that evil. I want to be able to unleash that evil on somebody's ass if I have to bring it out. It's a good point. Somebody said something. Have you ever done sensory deprivation? I want to try it. I'll tell you. We have a place here. We have a place here that is a sound room. And in the sound room, you get the same kind of thing. It turns off everything. They turn off the lights and everything. No, nothing gets in there but how you sound. That's why these sound. I mean, the tuning forks. If I really had my way, I would create one of those rooms. And when you use the tuning forks, because I just brought the tuning forks in there just for me, and the tuning forks more than the bowls were the hero in the soundproof room. I mean, it was amazing. And a lot of people wouldn't be comfortable because you hear you. That's why that's really the biggest way to cure yourself is to know how you sound. You really should know how you sound when you're well. You have a sound that you sound like when you're well. And so when injury and sickness come, you hear it. You get a certain point and you do start hearing it, how you sound. They call it whatever, tetanitis or whatever, but it's actually you are getting older and you are getting more in tune on how you sound. Oh, shit. Let me type this in. Oh, shoot. Okay. Said 800 million. Tiger made 800 is worth 800 million. Estimated. Okay. Who wants Tiger gone? I think the controllers want him gone. Oops. That's who I think. I think the controllers want him gone. Sorry, I missed his. Okay, he just broke. Okay, I'm sorry I missed your chat. But yeah, that's who wants him gone is the controllers want him gone. Again, he making money for other people. Like what David Chappelle say. David Chappelle was given 50 million. They was making 500 million. David Chappelle was like, well, damn. And all the future revenue. That's what he said. When he said it was on Netflix, he wasn't getting paid. He was right. He wasn't getting paid. They took it. They talked about what that they gave him 25 some of it. And it was like, that's all he was going to get. And Cat Williams busted the system up and said, you can't blame Dave. So I don't know what Tiger did this time. It's really interesting that they said that they put a rod in his leg and they put screws in his ankle. He had multiple compound fractures. And that car is nothing but airbags. It's like, I think, 11 airbags in that car. But when you roll down a ravine, body ain't meant to take too much of that. And when something destroys the engine out your car, so it's hard to say. It's hard to say who went after him. Yes. So yeah, I went into that kind of room. Well, you're welcome, Dread. Religion is the way to control the masses. It is. Cloning, yeah, fear is learned. Fear is definitely learned. Danger is real, but not fear. That's why a lot of people couldn't handle quarantine either. They needed distraction. Absolutely. I mean, think about it. People couldn't stay home with their families. And this is just the truth. This is just the truth. Most people are used to their children being gone all day. Most people are used to only living with their children full time in the summers. And what do? People that can do something in the summers, you travel. So it's not you and the children at home. You play baseball. You're taking your children all around. But all of a sudden, we had people that had to deal with children that don't have the skills to really deal with children full time. I mean, school is more than a babysitting thing. It actually, some of these people couldn't deal with their children all the time. And so that was also the psyop. The depression is probably at all-time high because of this. Do you think Serena is next? No. We're going to have the next 3 years. TV commercials is going to be the worst grotesque shit we've ever seen in the history. They are full blown ahead. Didn't they just pass today that anybody can play any sports? You just got to say. Didn't they just pass that? It's going to allow young men to play in women's sports. Wasn't that passed today? Am I wrong? You can go into any bathroom. Now, I don't think anybody in America really feels that's right. I mean, look at how many women take their little boys in the women's bathroom because they're not, the child is too young to go in the bathroom by themselves. And now a person, because they identify one way, could be in that same bathroom with your boy. And I don't think that's me being prejudiced. I'm just saying, look at it as a practical way. So it's going to be, so no, they love Serena. They love Serena. And Serena is a horse face. Serena is the Serena is the poster girl for a horse face. She's the poster person for a horse face. That is what you call a horse face. And that's what Serena is. She's a horse face. You can look that up to see what that means. I'm not gonna fear is pounded into our hearts. How do they clean house when they need a distraction? What happened to Tiger Woods? Oh, Tiger Woods flipped down a ravine in a truck, broke his legs up. Fear is the lowest vibration. I agree. It really is. Babies are fearless. My older nephew jumped off steps, and my younger nephew did the same thing. Got bruised up. He did it without thinking about it. Yeah. Tiger strong. I'm wanting to. I'm going to Africa. Tiger, let me know how it goes. The thing about Africa, and if you guys know Africans, they don't like each other. These tribes do not like each other. That is just a thing there. They are very tribal. And Kemet is nothing but an Arab tourist attraction. Kemet ain't got nothing to do with Africans. It's an Arab tourist attraction discovered by the French. Look up that history. When the Arabs took over, they ain't give a fuck about that stuff. Look at Napoleon's people went down there and found that shit and started digging that shit out. The Arabs there didn't give a fuck until the shit started making money. And then there's the one video of an Arab dude on TV saying, people in America are trying to say they're related. Well, Arab, you ain't related to them either. That ain't your history. The Arabs were definitely didn't live in that area. You saying y'all was in there and you was different than the Ethiopians? No, those were not the original people. The Arabs were not there. They conquered those areas. Like even in this book, why they became Muslims was when the Arabs invaded. But they talk about several different people conquering this area. Several people conquering that area. So let me give the divinations. Books are everywhere. Oh, there it is. I believe we're on day 10, so we'd be 13 platoons, 0 platoons, 8 tunes. We have 5 uno, and we're on day 10 uno. And we are the energy going into Saturday. Saturday would be, the energy would be from the north. In day 10, we are Ak, dog, mammalian brain, emotional life, guide, and principle of loyalty, faithfulness that gives strength in the spiritual journey. And this is Ak, for those of you that resonate with fractals. And then under the Toltec, it is and Toltec in this card. In this card, we see a sign. In this card, we see a Yanni with his double or energetic body coming out of his neck while he manipulates some sacred herbs. The footprint represents the Yanni's journey into his double, symbolically represented as the dog and bringing an offering to the deity. Getting the dog card is a sign of traveling without losing your connection with the place you are coming from. It also represents the virtual faithfulness towards someone or something. As double beings, we cannot achieve healing and wellness if we do not honor the tonal and nagal sides of our being. The problem is that in modern times, humans are generally absorbed in their minds only, trapped in the side of reasoning, so to speak, left brain. But reasons get sick if it is not balanced by the most efficient and continued use of awareness and other self, which is based not in reason, but in the silent knowledge. It is our magical side. The dog represents your journey into the experiences of your other self for the sake of achieving completion of a Negro development. The time is prosperous for practice that leads into that direction. The other important meaning of dog is fidelity. Getting this card may mean that someone loyal to you is playing an important role in your life, perhaps without your knowing your full acknowledgement. This card can also mean that you may be called to stand up for someone or something and be loyal to that person or cause despite the difficulties that you may have by doing so. And this is not a small cause because very often your own growth depends on your capacity to serve others. At the end, being loyal to your heart and connections will orientate you into the minds of uncertainty. And break your routine by traveling somewhere. Put yourself in a new situation, learn new skills, maybe travel. How could I prepare myself to be able to really connect with the new place and the new people that I will meet? And that would be if someone's getting a new job or actually going back to work, that this might be very, very beneficial to you. What patterns and routines could I change in an advantageous situation for me? So if that resonates to anybody, then that is for you. Again, I give freely. Again, the manifestation will be out of the north. So if you need a push on whatever you're doing, go to the north. It's really, yep. Africans hate Americans and Egypt is Arab tourist attraction. Yeah, it is. It's Christianity for real. I mean, this is the thing, unique breed. This is the thing. And I've said this over and over again. So what you see some beings having all the power in the world, but their teacher teaches them how to heal. And their teacher is never with any rich. He never tries to take any land. The opposite of what the Catholic Church is or Christian Church is today, the Romans. My brother did a very brilliant thing about this. And matter of fact, you can read in this book I'm reading about Isabella tells the same thing, and how the Catholic Church more and more just start taking gifts. But how could that be so when the person they based their religion on did everything for free and owned nothing but his clothes? He brought this spark to his people that followed him, and they of all the riches in the world, of all the things in the world, they just asked for the magic to help them cure people. Now, how much realer can that be? They don't want to talk about that. But I'll say this. There are places that practice this. The place where I got food to take around to these people that can't get food, they practice that. They feed the people that need fed. They do. They practice that. But these rich church people don't do it. We had people down there in Houston in a hard time. The man with the mega church, the ex-place where the Rockets used to play, didn't want to open his church up. So is he a man of what he's talking about? Is he a man that had the power and wanted to help? That man only helped after he was shamed. Only a devil helps after it's shamed. That's a devil. That's how devils operate. Devil doesn't do anything out of what he wants, out of the good. If you force the devil into a corner and the devil can't make money, then the devil says, okay. But that's a prime example of a person that's not in it to help people. Their whole premise is you ain't do what you doing ain't right because you ain't rich. That's their whole prevalence, their whole spiel, their whole stick is that you be with us, all us affluent people, and our influence will go on you. This is how you'll get your abundance, by being around all these rich folks. If that ain't some shit. Bible allegory, it can teach you great things indeed. Christianity was invented to make you worship the true devil, never question, never praise. There you go. Man, fitting to be hell. If you look at the story of the devil, that's our true creator. Energy questions the system. The churches are fleecing their pockets off the backs of the poor. There you go. There you go. And 501c3, PNF does a very beautiful thing on showing that the odds that Malcolm X wasn't really killed. But it's nothing more than what I haven't been saying, that King probably wasn't killed. And we know Kennedy wasn't killed. That was all TV. So they just kept doing TV over and over again. If you believe in that Kennedy shit, that, and I 30 or 40 books I read on that shit when I was in my 20s. It wasn't and I had all the tapes. The most important tape was of Lee Bauer, but I had all that shit at one time. 30 or 40 books on the Kennedy assassination. I mean, I just went deep, and I went to the dude in Ohio's house. The dude who wrote Case Closed, Posner. Posner's on all the detective shit now. I went to the same place where he got his shit. That dude in Ohio. That dude's like, you can print as much shit you want. You can go through all these files. That's how cool he was. And he knew Posner was probably, because that's what he told me. I knew Posner wasn't really on my side. But yet he let that motherfucker go down there, copy wherever. He let anybody. You going down in his files, you print whatever you wanted, and you go with it. But that shit wasn't real. It was just to scare you, to say if anybody does any good. I mean, if you thought they was going to kill King, they would have killed him in the beginning. King really had no power. The king had no power when they killed him. People wasn't fucking with him like that. Think about leading up to that. King tried. Did you know when King went up north, none of this shit worked for him? None of his marches worked for him. What happened when he went to Chicago? Y'all remember that? They was throwing bottles and shit at his ass? Y'all remember when King tried to march in Chicago? Shit didn't go very well. And then King tried to throw a little logic and spoke against the Vietnam War. And they made you think they killed him for it. Same thing with Bobby Kennedy and all them. It was fear to make you fearful. See what happens when you talk good and you try to do good for people? you get killed. You get killed when you try to do good. So don't try to do good. And that was a psyop. Just like I was saying, getting into the Manson shit. The Manson shit was really just all about keeping people in the cities. Don't go into communes. Don't raise your own food. Don't raise your own children. Or you end up like Manson. Some cult. So that's what the 60s was about. Oh, yeah. You think these drug lords like Pablo, total agents. Total agents. Like now they're going after the wife. It is impossible. It is impossible for any of these people. Study the dude who was with the godmother. Study him. And you really think this dude just wrote her a letter, goes to prison, starts screwing her, and then he becomes one of the biggest dope people in America? Is that believable? It's just that easy. Well, you know, they put the godmother in that prison a couple miles from me, whatever. And I think if I write her a couple letters, she'll invite me up and let me hit. And then before you know it, I'm running keys all around the country. But when she gets taken down and I tell on these other people, they don't take my money away from me. They don't put me into jail. That was an agent, clearly an agent. She was an agent. She had 100 keys. She had hundreds of keys taken from a ship coming in New York. They let her sell coke, one of the first people that really boomed coke in New York. A shipload of cocaine got caught, which again, the government knew all that. She was allowed to go to Miami. Even in the 80s, if you got caught with all that cocaine, they're not just going to let you go to another state and then you can just hide. She didn't hide. So all of them. Why do you think the Mexican cartels are more militarized now? You think that's by happenstance, accident? Well, you know, they got enough money to buy all those weapons. Who's selling them the weapons? Who's selling them that? But again, Scarface shows you he's an agent. Deep Cover, they show you he's an agent. New Jack City, an agent comes easy. Agent just chills with you. And what is the Denzel movie? The Denzel movie Training Day shows the stupidest nigga of all time. They gave him Academy Award for being the stupidest nigga of all time. He was the stupidest hustler ever shown in life. What hustler that is strong and has a fortress just takes a new rookie cop and just shows him his whole operation day one? And they gave him Academy Award for being a stupid ass nigga. It was like a character that Denzel should have just turned his back on. Who is that stupid that you show him your whole operation? And then he just happens to save a girl and they don't kill him. He walks out the car, they kill him. He ain't gonna send him to some Mexican brother so they can kill him. No, he get killed as soon as he come out the car, so you know he's dead. You don't take a chance like that. Well, you know, he might have saved a Mexican girl. These Mexican people might not kill him because he did help. And how did you know? And you see how stupid they think we are. That is how stupid they think we are. And let's look, glory shows my family. My family was in that battle. The one holding the flag was my family. But when Denzel is tied up and beat in the back, that is sodomy. That is what they're showing you. When they talk those fake stories about buck breaking, that is what they're trying to show you. It's sodomy. It's not slavery being beat. They're showing you sodomy. They're showing you a man being sodomized, pain to the back. That's sodomy. And you looking at it like, well, damn, how many times are they going to hit him? No, they're trying to show you sodomy and buck breaking. Buck breaking. That's what they was trying to show you. Buck breaking. And he won an Academy Award for that too. Why would he agree to that? Why would he agree to that? So you think he's on our side? Who put 501(c)(3)? Malcolm operated on that. They was nonprofit when Malcolm and Elijah was running the Muslims. They was nonprofit. We have Malcolm dealing with white supremacists, collecting money from them. There's pictures, you can find it. Rockwell, I think, was the white supremacist name that Malcolm was talking to. And we know the Klan supported Elijah Muhammad too. He took money from the Klan. You can find it. That's not hidden information. That might work. The funniest thing, let me see. King Kong ain't got shit on me. I got to catch Snowfall episode you was talking about. Yeah, it was pretty good. I like Snowfall. The funniest thing is all these fake drug documentaries. When the camera crew follows them around, the people treat them real. Exactly. Denzel's a clone. Could be. This is a fear-based system. Rona showed you that clear as day. Yep. Clear as day. We are. And it's like you see the same thing over and over again. Rayful Williams up in DC. Alpo got like 30 bodies. Who do you think he was killing people for? You think paid in full, he really just found the 8-ball and that got everything started? No, they pick and choose who they let do this. They've always done that. They've always done it. Ain't no brother just getting all these keys all of a sudden. No, they've always been government agents. That's why when they took Rayford Williams down, he handcuffed and then he go on a helicopter. You see how dramatic they was trying to make it? And then you know how they want to say Rayford went down? Because I was up in DC that summer. They said it was some European chick and he let her in and she was the one that exposed him. You see how simple they think everybody is? That's all the talk was in DC. If he wouldn't have let her in, Rayford would have never got caught. What happened when he went to jail? They did to Larry Hoover. They let him connect to a Colombian, and they was selling cocaine when he was in prison. And they took down the Colombians. And now Rayford is in witness protection. So you don't think he was a damn agent when he started? This government don't just let that happen. I mean, you may take an ounce and turn it into a big 8, but if you trying to get major keys, you working for the government. And that's how the system's always been. Like I talk about Dr. Snow, that book about that cat. How he supposedly got caught up. Same thing. He was working for the government the whole time. Look at the cocaine cowboys, the dudes flying over. They was flying, the pilots. And I've said this many times. Drive-by started with the CIA in Florida. That's how drive-by started. It started with the CIA in Florida. The CIA is the one with the godmother. They was the first one doing drive-bys. So do you think it's a coincidence that it starts happening in California? And again, the gangs was created in California by the feds. Now, when you had when Bunchy Carter and them, what is the street that they come to me? The street that Nipsey got killed on. That was the gang Bunchy Carter was in. Can't think of the name of the street, but that street name was his gang. So do you think when the Bloods and the Crips and all that killing, you think just black folks can kill in that scale? Military style killing all of a sudden. No, that's Uncle Imbecile and them. They kill like that. Those are military killings. The same thing, like all the murder capitals was military style killing by our government, blamed on brothers. But it was military style killing blamed on brothers. The military being in that shit. Now, Gary Webb, when I first came across Gary Webb's information, I've said this many times, is Gary Webb talked about a tractor trailer full of goddamn guns, full of it. And then you hear the stories about the people in Chicago walking the train tracks, barrels full of guns, just fucking in the middle of the train tracks, just a barrel full of guns. But in Watts, it was a tractor trailer that people didn't pay attention to, and then they finally broke into it, full of fucking guns. Is that a coincidence? Remember what they was trying to do? They was trying to set people up by leaving Nike tractor trailers, and then dudes breaking into it, and they arrested them right then and there. Well, they did the same thing with guns. That's part of Gary Webb's information. If you ever study Gary Webb's information, get the book, and all his information tells you about that. The tractor trailer full of guns. And then you hear the same story in Chicago. Just guns and in trash cans, just out nowhere, but where people will walk and be young people. So you may think and idolize the local dope dealer, but the local dope dealer is an agent. That's how it's always been. You get too big, you working for them. Somewhere down the line, you get too big, you start working for them. That's the way they do it. They are so greedy that the little amount you make, they still want to pinch you for some of that amount. You think our government has dealt heroin since the 1800s and shit. In the same way I talk about the way they paralyzed China with the Britons bringing opium into China and paralyzed the people for a number of years. That was the Queen doing that shit. Queen Victoria. So you think they stopped doing that to melanated people? Same thing. And again, you have to look at the advantage they took on us. We won World War II for them. Detroit, Cleveland, Chicago, Gary, the Midwest won World War II. And they needed brothers in them factories. You notice they made a movie about the women being in factories? Remember that? They made a movie with Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell about the women being in factories doing the job. Why ain't they made a movie about us being in them factories too? A lot of brothers was in them factories. More brothers was in them factories than European women. And we won World War II for them. And how did they reward these cities? They closed them all basically down. You know, the highest time of cars, the popularity of cars was in the 50s. And they knew that their profits was going to fall somewhat. So instead of accepting it and say, okay, we can share it amongst the people for helping us win this war, no. Our government lets them move to other cities. Crush the union. That's Ronald Reagan helped consolidate that. Crushing the unions. Letting these jobs go to non-union states. That's what right to work means, no unions. So our government was complicit in it. And I don't want to make a joke out of it, because what they literally did is took all the jobs away from men and they replaced it with crack. They brought in the crack. Crack was invented by the CIA. You watch me, I've talked about this all the time. The CIA invented crack. Crack wasn't base. Average person wouldn't be able to afford it. So they found an affordable way because they saw how addictive base was. They came out with a cheaper way. And I've talked many times about Kalamazoo. They wasn't even smoking crack. I mean, maybe here and there, but they wasn't even getting crack. But all the same attributes. These people smoking some shit they think is crack, and they're acting like the people that really get crack act. And they're not even smoking the real shit. My partners was having keys of this shit, and I'm looking at this shit like, what the fuck is this shit? I'm like, did you know that shit ain't crack? What is this shit? And he's like, well, whatever it is, these motherfuckers is going crazy over it. And he wasn't wrong. So do you see, it was mental. It was a mental thing. They knew how stupid and vulnerable the people were. They didn't even get the real drug. And they acting like it's the real drug. And it ain't. Didn't smell like it, didn't burn like it. It was something else. I don't even know what this shit is. It didn't have speed. It wasn't crystal meth. It was some kind of fake cocaine. Maybe they sprayed it with like some benzocaine shit, but it wasn't a real drug. And these people are going crazy like it is. And so when you look at how they destroyed our neighborhoods, this was on purpose. Take the jobs away, replace it with something illegal, and then criminalize it. Now, the best thing in the movie New Jack City, the best line is, ain't no Uzi made in Harlem. You are not prosecuting all the people, the chain of how this cocaine came. You are prosecuting the end of the chain. And that was their goal, to prosecute the people on the end of the chain, with almost all departments, police departments around the country involved. They got rewarded by getting military equipment. So they was rewarded up till when Obama was president. Now, when I tell you the story about 22 keys coming missing from Kalamazoo, this is not a made up story. And then that same dope being back on the streets a week later, days, not even a week. Even back then, how could somebody just come in? Do you know how much dope 22 keys is? It would be a couple big duffel bags. I mean, big hockey duffel bags worth of dope. Even if you made it tall, it's still going to take you a couple duffel bags. How was that possible to take that out of all the eyes when apparently there was no cameras there? But who could just go in that evidence locker where somebody works all for 24 hours? And then the chief of police takes another job. One of my cousins, who was the deputy chief, he was able to retire. All them under chiefs, no one ever got in trouble for it. Matter of fact, the head detective you could tell he was quite rewarded. I'm not going to say his name, but he was quite rewarded. But it just shows you this system that they put. And then want to talk about us. They take away jobs and then want to talk about us. It's like if you study what they did in Ireland, steward older food. One year they went in there and they took all the crops. All of it. From everywhere, every inch of Ireland. They took almost all the crops. And then called the people lazy because the people were starving and too weak to do anything. They create a road that's the road to death that leads nowhere, just to work people to death. And then when the people finally got over and said, okay, you took our food, we got some other shit that's going to grow, we don't need your help. And they start growing potatoes. What do these wizards do? They put some shit that spreads and kills the potatoes. Forces them into America during the Civil War time. All right. The military caused the current opium epidemic in America. They bring it over from the poppy fields in the Middle East. People can never, Afghanistan. That's why we was in Afghanistan. That's why heroin is pure, it's cheaper. That's why heroin is damn near legal. Remember, in I think it's Pittsburgh, I think it's Pennsylvania, where you can go shoot your dope, and they got people, if you fall out, bloop bloop. I did a joke about that. You go in there and they're like, keep your eye on Johnny. Every time he comes in to shoot, Johnny just ODs. So let's stay ready. Give a cap out. And sure enough, Johnny comes in there, ODs, bloop bloop. Johnny's back. And we're in Afghanistan. And then Super Sly brought up the stuff about Pat, the football player that went over there, where they might have killed him because he objected to protecting the fucking poppy fields. Remember, Bill Clinton gave them motherfuckers $40 million, supposedly not to grow heroin. Why would they take 40 million or each get $1 million and stuff when they making hundreds of million? It just was good publicity. Well, they're not growing heroin, guys. They're not growing it because we gave them a couple million each. The warlords got American money for doing nothing, so they're not. No. Heroin has never been pure. Heroin has never been cheaper. Pac had to die to turn rap into what it is today. Big companies own rap now. They push guns and drugs. Well, they popularized that culture of, again, the CIA created these fake gangsters, that life. And they took these non-gangsters to do that. Remember, all rap was really from New York. No one really paid much attention to, they weren't paying attention to people in the South. Atlanta wasn't, the Florida music wasn't. Egyptian Lover, how many people even knew who that cat was? Sir Mix-a-Lot was doing the fast rap. Sound like the Mickey Mouse music. They created them. They couldn't have the consciousness coming out. Self-destruction. You're headed from self-destruction. And the Jewish faith people couldn't have that. They couldn't have where rap had turned very positive. They used the vibes to try to uplift the people. And the Jewish faith people said, no, we can't have that. So let's start talking about bitches and hoes and killing another man. And poor children, one grown man and the rest basically young men, this poor. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to sell their people out. They're going to sell their people out because food in your stomach trumps what's right and wrong. I'll say it again. Food in your stomach will trump what's right and wrong sometimes for some people. And they raise these people. They sacrifice one of them. And all of a sudden, that's the craze. Remember Chris Rock's movie? Do you talk about guns? Do you talk about bitches and hoes? Do you grab your dick? CB40 or some shit like that. Remember that? So you have the East Coast trying to uplift the people. You have these demons in California trying to take the people down, demeaning the people, demeaning the divine feminine. The divine feminine wasn't even a issue in the East. And I don't know, what the energy and why they picked California to be so negative, and especially on the women. But that's sold, and America bought it up. America bought it up. Because the little history, the song that sold the country rap was It Takes Two. That is the one song that made European people buy. That made European people buy rap, was It Takes Two. That was the first song where European children went in the stores and bought rap, bought hip hop, was It Takes Two. Hammer went on that momentum, and then Hammer came. And whatever happened to Too Big MC? I love Too Big MC. We're rolling, we're rolling. What happened to Too Big? Why'd you get rid of Too Big, Hammer? I like Too Big better than I liked you. And then Hammer comes in. And Hammer wasn't talking about bitches and hoes. Hammer went back to early hip hop. It's joyful party. So we have, again, actors. It was actors from the beginning. APOC Rocky, Biggie Feminine. I don't even know who that is. Tiger Straw, rap being hyper masculine. Cardi B promotes negative music to young girls, but when her daughter tried to listen to it, she hurried up and turned it off. The new song is just talking about how good her pussy is, and the other song was how wet her pussy is. Okay. I mean, really, you sitting like in a club and you hearing that shit playing, and that's supposed to be bumping to you? The new song, shit, it plays on the radio talking about her pussy. And they play it. They don't blurp that out. So yeah, it is demeaning music. It's demeaning music. It's demeaning music of the divine feminine. It just sexualizes the divine feminine. Doesn't hold it in a positive light. Imposters. Yeah, it's definitely trash. It's very low vibrational music. That's the thing. Very low vibrational music. And that's what you got to look at. How high or how low do you want to vibe? Are we going up? Or are we going down? Are we going up? Or are we going down? They really want women to be put on a pedestal. Well, I mean, women came first. The planet itself is a female type of being. And this thing is for years and years has tried to put it down. I mean, again, saying that this beautiful thing created something as horrible as Yabatha, Marduk, whatever you, Bala Marduk. Supposedly she wanted to create something outside of herself and hide it from everyone. And while isolating it, it thought it was the only being because it saw beings that couldn't do more than it could do. It's looking at beings that can't create like it can create. It's left in a world by itself and it creates the illusional world. And it brings beings into its illusional world. And it thinks it's God because it doesn't know anything other than it. Because Sophia stopped fucking with it as well. She hid it from him knowing her. You reading the Gnostic literature. It only thought it was it. It had to be a God. It was greater than them things he was looking at. And he's created this whole world. And all he just needed was them beings to be in it. No God greater than I. I'm a jealous God. That's after Sophia was like, hey, son, there's other motherfuckers like us. So that's where that comes from, the jealous God. It knew not only that this being knew that not only it wasn't the greatest God, it was like the lowest of the lowest gods. That's where the devil comes in. It was the lowest of the gods. So you see, it would be under. It would be under. Didn't have supreme power. So wouldn't that kind of be like the devil? This is the tricks they play on this shit. And that's the way they try to, that's why they call the Holy Spirit. They take it away. They take away Sophia or Mu. So when you're getting feminine energy to help you manifest, they call it what do they call it? Man, forgot that quick. The Holy Ghost, the Holy Spirit, the Father, the Son, What else comes? If you got the Father and you got the Son, what comes next, really? What comes next? Has to be a female in there. But no, they changed the name to the Holy Spirit to take the divine feminine away. That's why I was saying about, reading this Isabella attacking Islam, saying because Islam's treatments of women, some ways of Islam's treatment of women is we protect our women so you can't go by just how they look. You ain't gonna fuck with our women just because they cute or they got long hair. We hide that shit from you. Part of that is protection. It's not all just about putting the women down. It's saying, no, you're not going to judge how women look. You're going to get to know this woman. And we definitely ain't letting motherfuckers that ain't related to us see how our women look. And you got to look at all sides of this shit. You can't just take Gloria Stein. Those women shouldn't be covered up. Yeah, they should be. Yeah, they should be. We ain't going to have nobody pining after our women. We cover our women up. Only her husband and family know what she looked like. So that lust ain't there. They took lust out of this shit. I'll tell you, this tobacco will put you on such a low. It is just interesting when it kicks in. I can tell when I absorb too much. I'm like, whoa, why am I feeling so low? Hammer was never about no street shit. No. Hammer, you ain't hitting in New York, and you are going to do about that, Hammer. I'm going to turn this mother out. Hammer had gang ties, James. Hammer was in Oakland, where the Panthers was as well, so not surprised. But Hammer was picked. I mean, Hammer worked for the Oakland A's because he looked like Hank Aaron as a little boy. That's why they called him Hammer. As a little boy, he looked just like Hank Aaron, and he worked for the Oakland A's. You don't think he was handled back then? Come on. It's not happenstance that Hammer worked for the Oakland A's. Tried to make a pro baseball thing his damn self. That's why he had to go through the humiliation ritual of losing his money. And I've told the story many times. The second time I saw Hammer, he started singing all that church stuff. I never saw an entertainer lose the crowd so fast. I mean, he's singing the good stuff and everybody's with him. He went in that church sit and everybody sat down and people started walking out. And I'd never seen that phenomenon before. A person that had the crowd in their hand just shit on them and say, well, I'm gonna just play the shit I like. I don't really care what y'all like, but I'm gonna play the shit I like. I've never witnessed that before in an entertainer. And I've been to a lot of concerts. It was interesting to see that, to say, fuck what you like. I'm gonna play the shit I like. I don't care if you done paid your tickets, you up in here, you done paid, I don't care. And I mean, people for 45 minutes just sat down and started leaving. It was interesting to watch, where it went from about 25 minutes of people screaming and dancing, maybe almost an hour. And then after that hour hit, nothing. And people were, it was a funny phenomenon to watch. I pay attention. And it was just like, sometimes you lose the crowd, but he purposely just shitted on the crowd, playing all that damn gospel music. And I just thought, wow, you have to be able to read your crowd. And he did nothing to bring it back up. It was like, okay, y'all got down. Now you're going to listen to this. He never tried to regain the crowd. He had to see that. Couldn't have just been me that noticed that. He lost the crowd just that quick and never tried to regain it. That's not what entertainers do. That was for TV Hammer. The Jews and the Muslims protect the image of the women. I noticed the Christians don't. No, they really don't, William. That was the TV Hammer. Well, that's what they try to teach us. That's the slavery bullshit. I tell you, talked to my dad today. And my dad's going through a little memory stuff. But one beautiful thing is, he told me a bunch of stuff I never knew. And so my mother's 80, my dad's about to turn 78 in April. And so something I never knew, my people come from Mississippi, Macon, Mississippi. And it's not named after my people, it's named after Nathaniel Macon that fought in the Revolutionary War. And what happened is once, they started moving the Indians out of these states, they was letting these Europeans buy the land very cheap. That's why you have Macon, Georgia. It's the same thing. It's after Nathaniel Macon from buying a bunch of cheap land. But my family, and it looks like we came out of Virginia and we went to Mississippi. I don't know if we followed that fucker or not. I don't know. I haven't figured that out. But so my father was born in my grandfather, my grandmother, all born in Mississippi, Macon, Mississippi. And so he was telling me the story of my great grandfather, my great grandmother, great would be right. Just great grandfather on my father's side. And he was like 28, 29. She was 16, 15, 16, something like that. And he was saying it was arranged marriage. He had to give her family 100 acres. And they built the Macon Industrial School that went on for a number of years. We have yearbooks and shit from the school. But he gave that land up to marry her. But I had went in time and watched them two. And I know it was more than that. It was like, he went to church and they saw each other when they were in church. And I can't say definitely it was church, but it was some kind of outing. Appeared to be church though. And she saw him and she was kind of going for him. So I kind of giggled. My father said it was arranged marriage. Yeah, it to a point, but when she saw him, she dug him. I saw that in both of them, where he was more kind of laid back and humble. She saw him and kind of, so when this deal got put together, she had a little bit to do with it. But he told me a funny story. He said that my great grandfather didn't want to go to the cotton gin because the cotton gin would gin your cotton for free. But when they would gin your cotton, they would keep your seeds. So they do it for free. They would remove the seeds for free, and then you could sell it, but they wouldn't give you your seeds back. And apparently my great grandfather thought that was bullshit. And he said he would never sell his cotton. So what he did is he built an extra porch where his cotton was. And he said he was just that stubborn. He didn't think that, and he was right. Why would you give up your seeds? And so he refused to sell to them. And I found that interesting. So, and my father told me he spent, he went down to Mississippi in the summers. I had never heard that before. It's like, wow, really? I didn't know that you went from Michigan as a little boy and spent, and, because I knew that my father knew my great grandfather. I was like, wait a minute, he didn't die until my dad was a teenager. And, when people have started having memory losses, they remember 30, 40 years ago. They can't remember the last few years, but they remember a long time ago. So that's why I was like, let me get these stories. Why, and he just told me he has more information that I'm going to try to get out and copy and make sure the family gets this. So when you look at these pictures, you want to get these stories to keep these ancestors alive. So if you can talk to people that know about these pictures, do it while the people are alive. Don't let that go by you. If there are people that know these stories, talk to them, write this shit down, tape it, whatever you got to do. Because that is your family. That is the one thing you can share with your children. So now I can show people pictures of these people and say a little bit about them. An imagination that makes them come real. Not just a stagnant picture. He told me about one of my great uncles, all my grandfather's brothers, all of them look alike. And I think I've told this story before. One of my youngest great uncles, not much older than my father, they're about 8 years apart. And he comes up and he sees me playing in the driveway and he said, boy, and that's all the men. They call us just boys. They know our names. That was the way to say the name. And he said, is your daddy upstairs? And I took him upstairs. And I was asking about that. I was like, I wonder how he knew that I was related to him. Because I'd never met this man in my life. But he looked at me and said, is your daddy here? Took him upstairs. So maybe he saw something in me. And he told me an interesting story, Bo, about one of my great uncles. Again, I never met this man. I know his wife, I know his children, but this man, I don't think I ever met him. And I guess he had tuberculosis and was sickly. He died. But he told me something interesting. He said he just would disappear and he would vagabond around the country. And I know some of his children. Well, the sad thing is, 3 or 4 of his children have died very young. One of my cousins, his daughter, just died. She died at 55. First, she lost both hands. I don't know. I haven't talked to anybody. She lost both hands. Now, I don't know if that was from diabetes. I don't know. But she lost both of her hands, and she just died months ago. I had another cousin that died. We weren't even 40. And they had another little brother that he was in his mid-20s and died. So there's something there. But I have another cousin. He had another son that suffered from mental illness. And I'm pretty sure their dad did as well. And it's just because this part of the family, they were the first poor people I ever saw. I remember I went in their house one time because I was in love with my cousin. My cousin was probably one of the most beautiful women I'd ever saw in my life. Even to this day, when that girl was 18, she was one of the most beautiful women I've ever, still, I don't think I've ever saw a woman prettier than her. And she let me hang with her. And then she disappeared and went into the service, got raped, had a child, broke her spirit. But back to her. I mean, but I remember going into the house. They didn't have no tub. The tub was full of dirty clothes. Sink and a toilet. 8 or 9, 7 children, 2 parents. I think it was only 2, 3-bedroom home. It was the first time I really looked at poor in the face. Now they obviously had running water because the toilet worked. Don't know why the tub was full of dirty clothes. Couldn't figure that out. Back then, everybody went to the laundromat to wash clothes. And then getting stories of other relatives. So again, to put stories with these faces. Because I was talking to him and I almost forgot that part. I was like, hey, what about so-and-so? What about so-and-so? What about so-and-so? And just little stories that you can pass on to people. Like my great-grandfather. Like, no, I'll stay with my father's family. A lot of the magic I got comes from my grandfather. Just by listening to him. And he had the magic books where you got from time. And you've heard me before, I've told this story, but I'm going to tell this over and over again because that's how our people learn, by hearing these things and then practicing them. And just simple as me listening to him. He said, boy, this is how you make magic, a magic wand. But when he was in Mississippi, he was in them backwoods when they was doing magic and he had to watch that stuff. As a young man, little boy, young man. And as he grew up, who was he going to give it to? He probably saw no one around him. My grandmother was Pentecostal. So as he looked, he's like, who am I going to give this to? And then I show up and he shows me this book. Matter of fact, I grabbed the books at first and just started looking at them and reading them. I'm a college student. I was like my sophomore year, freshman or sophomore year. I'm a college student, so books just always interest me. He said, well, let me show you how you make a wand. And that's how he passed it to me. That side of the family's magic. And I tell that story because if you have those experiences, listen to these older folks, especially when it comes to spirituality, because some of them might not know who to give it to, and it just dies. It really just dies if you don't continue to give it to people. My 2 youngest sons that live with me, they can't help but being spiritual. My daughter spends times in my room where my altars are. She can't, it's there. My 18-year-old, City, is there. There's no way he can get away from it. He lives with this magic every day. And my mother's grandfather, Spent the night with him in his house. And that's how we shift it. We find the person that can hold it. That's what the elders look at. They're like, okay, this person can't get the magic. This person can't. This is who we give it to. This person will do something with it. This person will keep it alive. This person will pass it on to other family members so it doesn't die. Because every family has some type of magic. I've talked about big families. Y'all, I mean, that ain't even a thing anymore. Do you know how beautiful it used to be going into families that had 7, 8 people? And the way the homes were run with the father and the mother and just the way the homes were run? And you're looking at all these damn people living in this one house and it's moving. It was quite a thing to see in the 60s and 70s. And what do we have now? You might have one woman like my cousin. She got 5 boys. I think about 3 different men. Dudes coming in and out of her life. She has 5 children. This chick ain't but 31, 32, 33 at the oldest. And I'm not saying to be demean or anything. It's a beautiful thing to me. But on the other hand, she's still trying to drop it like she hot. She's still taking all these pictures on Facebook like, you know, I have 5 babies, but look at me now. Not really loving herself. Gauging herself by others. What kind of weave can I have? The butterfly eyelashes now. And you know, the butterfly eyelashes ain't nothing new. That's some 60s shit. You know, I hope everybody remembers that. Look at 60s movies. That's how 60s actors did in the 60s. They had the butterfly eyelashes in the 60s. That's nothing new. Look at Twiggy. Look at Elizabeth Taylor. Even some of Marilyn Monroe. I would say more in the late 60s, though, than the early 60s. So Marilyn, maybe not so much, but definitely Elizabeth Taylor. Twiggy. Look at all them. Because who doesn't really have, like my daughter would never need that. My children naturally have long eyelashes. All my daughters do. Now, my oldest daughter now, she wears that shit too. It's funny. I got 2 pictures of her and her man. One picture is like how she normally looks. The next picture, she's full of Veronica's Secret. Her and her man. She's got a weave and got all the makeup, and she's Veronica's Secret up, wearing the silky little shit. I love her regardless. Okay, Preston. Planned Parenthood kills big families. Indeed, ain't nothing new under the sun. Even the white girls wanted the big booties. Yes, they jock all the 60s style. And it's funny, like on that Match Me app, there's a chick out of New York, and you could tell she got like her top lip blowed up. It's a pretty sister that I'm friends with on Facebook, but she got her lips blowed up too. And it's like, here we go. This is what the shit looks like. I don't know if you got to be kind of old to remember this, but there used to be like you could get wax little Coke bottles, but you could get big wax lips, and you could chew on this wax because it had flavor, and then you spit it out. But it was wax candy. Used to be a big thing. It was wax candy, and you could chew on it and then you spit it out when they had no flavor. That's what this chick, the big, when they blow their lips up like that. That's what it looked like. It looked like they used to have a thing where you could get the wax big lips and it had flavor and you could chew on it, but it would give you the big lips. You would chew on it like it was kind of a mouthpiece. You know, it's kind of like a mouthpiece. And I'm looking at this chick and I went back to her regular picture. I'm like, this bitch, I got her lips blowed up. Because we know some people don't have lips. You got to say more than that. But it just looks like the most unnatural shit in the world. And again, they got to make your lips blowed up. But to see 2 pretty girls, already pretty, and they think that they need that enhancement. and you look ridiculous as fuck. It's like the most ridiculous looking shit you could think of. Wax candy, yeah. Yeah, Valerie says she remember it, but yeah, wax candy used to be very popular. You get a 6-pack of little pops, and it had different little Kool-Aid flavors. And you would just bite this shit off, and you know, when you got rid of the wax, you didn't chew it, you didn't swallow the shit. They probably figured out it was chemicals in that shit, but it was a thing. A very popular thing. I mean, that shit was around for a long time. It wasn't just the lips and the little pops. It was a bunch of wax candy you could pick from. I want to say it had its own little aisle of just wax shit. Imagine that, you chewing on candle shit. Look at little Kim. Yeah, little Kim, all that self-hatred. And she was probably forced to do all that too. Somewhat forced. You got to play roles. That's the thing. When you take their fame, you got to play roles. The role don't stop just because you done moved on. The role keeps going. Oh, Kim is damaged goods. She was beauty before it started. Yeah, exactly. I was born in the 60s. Yeah, little Kim destroyed her whole body, though. Not just her face. She destroyed her soul. That's what that is. Oh, you remember it too, Tammy. Okay. But yeah, we have people that when they say do this, you got to do it because it'll make somebody else do it. But that match me shit is some shit. These people getting paid. And I've seen it go down a few times, but they don't do shit. And it just shows me all the lonely people. There's no content. You're just watching a pretty girl or a pretty dude. You're not getting anything. And there's some people that don't want more than that they can text and they can send little gifts to. That turns some people on. It is a community that everybody makes so much money, they share it with each other. I admire that part of it. I get a couple thousand, and then people that helped me when I went on, I kind of throw a little bit of that at them. I understand that part. But it's like a thing of no content at all. These people are making thousands of dollars without putting out content at all. And it's the most mindless shit I've tried to do it. I've tried to do it while I do this. But the shit is so mindless. And it's people that do cards and try to be spiritual. I haven't seen any of the top people doing that, where they really can make like these other people. One girl got mad because dude busted her out. Dude was like, you made a pretty penny on here. And she got mad because he pointed that to all the people listening. She cut his ass off because they make you can kind of battle people. It ain't really battle. It's just, but she didn't like that shit. He fucked her up. It's like, you made money on this thing. But it seems like they want people's mind off that. But these people don't do any content. They don't talk about anything relevant. They don't talk about anything that make each other better. This is the truth. Some women just sit there and look at their phones. It's a girl that's deaf, and every once in a while she gets on sign language and types. But sometimes women just like, if it ain't a lot of people, like if they had 28 people like this show, they'd be like this, not even paying attention on me saying shit, and motherfuckers still watching. But that shows how desperate people are. That shows that people are really desperate and fucking lonely. Because I don't understand not getting content. I don't understand that. Why would I just look at some chick just to, just because it's a chick? And I can type her and, give her money. I don't get that. I guess it's the pimping in me. To me, that's weak pimping. Look at the singer of the weekend. He looks like the Joker. Ashton Kutcher is the biggest mystery ever. Looks like he's still 18. I don't know if he can still pass for that. His woman, though, did you see how she looks? The Russian chick he married, she's Russian. the Jupiter ascending chick, the chick that was on the '70s show. Ooh, that Russian chick is not aging good at all. You would look at her. Ooh, she don't look any, but she's Russian. Did y'all know that the AT&T girl with the big boobs is Russian? She's Russian too. Isn't that funny? Now all of them, and you know when they're from Russia, what they are when they're from Russia. Hey, what happened to the pancakes?
What?
I thought you was going to get McDonald's and get the pancakes and the hockey puck and the hockey puck sausage.
Oh, the hockey.
What happened? You didn't get the pancakes and the hockey puck sausage? What did you get? What did you get yourself? All I ask you to do is go to McDonald's and give me pancakes and hockey puck sausage.
Imagine thinking you're funny.
Yes, Mila Kunis. Oh my goodness, look at her now. She looks rough. She looks rough now. Oh, she looks very rough.
Wake niggas up.
Why did I wake you up?
How do you think? You probably woke me and everybody else in this building up.
The people downstairs ain't here. They gone. I'm gonna play music when I get done. They ain't here, so if they ain't here, no, it's not McDonald's pancakes. You got to get McDonald's pancakes and a hockey puck sausage.
What's up with this ice?
It's grapefruit. You drink that shit?
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah, you know I got dyslexia. That shit. I read that shit. That shit said crystal, and it just looked strawberry. And it says grapefruit. It says grapefruit. That shit's probably nasty as hell. If you spit, don't spit this way.
That's not bad. Try to.
No, I know.
No, it's good.
I know, but I know what you do, and no, I don't share drinks with you. You didn't drink out of it. No, you didn't drink out of it. I'm not messing with you. No, I know what you do. That's how we get my other son.
That's the other one.
My other son was like, "Well, Dad, can I hit your vape?" I'm like, "Son, we know what you do, and no, you can't." And so we get him like that every time. He just laugh like, "Son, yeah, we know what you do, so no, we can't. You can't hit this." But
you know we gotta get up at like 10:30, right?
Oh, we might have a change of plans.
What? Why? Because you don't want to get up?
No, because I might have to pick Natalie up at noon from gymnastics.
What does that do with anything?
I got to pick her up. How we going to go there and come back and be back by 12? We'd have to leave at 8 or 9.
We leave at 10:30.
And still be tight. Still be tight.
Well, if we leave at 10:30.
More like 10. If we leave at 10, then we can do it.
We get back at 11 versus we leave at 10:30 and get back at 11:30.
Yeah, I don't want to be that tight. I just do not want to do it that tight.
Okay, cool. We can leave at 10.
If you get up at 10, I'll take you at 10. It said crystal, but it's grapefruit. I used to work at McDonald's. We just put the pancakes in the microwave. We don't actually make them. I know. Bring your own vapes. There you go, Valerie. Yeah, we get my son, though. That's kind of like the little family joke. Like nobody is sharing with my middle son. We're like, son, you've got a certain lifestyle, and you can't hit our stuff. And so we tease him, but we love him regardless. It doesn't matter. But we do tease his ass. This shit's funny.
Mm-hmm.
You see, look at that middle thing. That middle sourdough bread. I think I'm gonna make
Maybe that's a loaf.
Yeah, that loaf. I'm gonna cut it off and put some cheese, and I got some. I think I'm gonna make some. I got some cut up chicken. I'm gonna make tacos too, but I'm gonna make something out of that loaf. I know you like that sourdough bread. Does he eat booty? Yeah, it's not eat booty. Read my show. Well, hey, we don't know. We can't take that off the table. No, we can't take that off the table, though. It's possible that he does. But we can't take that off the table, but there's some other reason, you know.
Oh.
So we just don't share we don't. His mother shares blunts with him, but we don't. I don't smoke blunts.
I don't smoke either.
But yeah, his mother shares smokes with him, but nobody else. You know, we just like, no, son, you know, you have a lifestyle that we're just not going to share with you, buddy. Your lifestyle says you won't hit my vape. So it's just a joke, guys. It's just a joke. Oh, you get it. Okay. Yeah, you get it. Yeah, again, yeah. And so we it's just fun. There you go. There you go. That is it. Yes, that is it. And so and I fucked him up the other day. It's like, no, son, you can't hit it. And he just had to laugh. Oh, I eat all the booty like groceries. Okay, I don't get that. That has never interested me. I don't get it. I don't get it. And my ex-wife was like, well, you remember that one time you were down there near it? I'm like, no, you got me mixed up with somebody else, buddy. That wasn't. Well, I remember. No. And if I was into that, it would be more than just one time. So just one time, I was like, hey, I'm interested in that. No, you talking about somebody else. She liked that kind of thing, but not me. I don't get that. I don't see how. I was listening to Craig Fax and Corey and him, and that is just, I don't get it. Because when I think about that, I think of the Toss My Salad Man. Y'all remember the Toss My Salad Man? He just had he said new guys would come into jail and they needed some favors and something done, and he just would look at them with a very serious face and say, toss my salad. And, you know, that's just what it makes me think of. I don't think it's enough honey, jelly, KY. Yeah, it's still a sphincter. It's still a sphincter. There's no way to get out of that shit. I just, no, I don't see the delight in that. I wouldn't get any delight in that. And I don't know that my friend I talked to would either. I think there's more uses of other parts of her body. The combo here is so. But y'all remember that? Dude was like looking real serious in the camera. He's like, yeah, the guy wants to know what he can do for me. And he's like, toss my salad. He didn't crack a smile or no shit. He's like, toss my salad. Remember Chris Rock made the joke, like, if your children didn't behave, it's like, we're going to take you to the toss my salad guy. He's like, no, not the toss my salad guy. I'll behave. I won't get in trouble anymore. That's what Chris Rock said. Not the toss my salad guy. Y'all remember that dude? Toss my salad. Well, you know, you put a little jelly on. No, there's not enough jelly in the goddamn world. I would like say, okay, do like 2 tons of jelly. And when I get through the 2 tons of jelly, I might have some energy to try something like that. But you got to throw 2 tons of jelly between me and you. Me and her got to be 2 tons of jelly. And if I get through these 2 tons of jelly, as a matter of fact, I might drown in the jelly. But if I can make it through 2 tons, then it might be on the table because I'd be covered with jelly. But if that's not on the table, I couldn't see myself doing that. I'm sorry for directing us here to the chocolate eating. Y'all remember that shit though? Dudes on HBO, toss my salad. Yeah, that was some funny shit. That was funny shit back then. So yeah, we tease my son, and he you know, I got to take him some more. We're gonna go in town. I'm gonna drop him some food off. I got some clothes for him and shit too. I have too many goddamn clothes, and I don't stop buying clothes, but that's my thing. I like clothes. 2 tons, you damn right. It's got to be, and I mean 2 tractor trailers full. Don't short on the tons. I'm weighing all that shit. I'm not really wanting to do it, but if I made the deal for 2 tons, I'm looking to make sure that shit is on 2 tons. I'm taking them out on the highway to make sure the tractor trailers they bring. I'm like, hey, that ain't 2 tons. The deal was 2 tons. Chick, the deal's 2 tons. This is less than a ton. The deal is off, baby. The deal is off. Well, it's only a couple quarts off. No, the deal was 2 tons. You come short of 2 tons, it's off. But that's what life is. Life is about being funny, you know, enjoying everything and finding humor and shit. can't just be serious all the time, you know. You see, if you want to have the spiritual connections to the spiritual erections, you got to get the jelly and sit through 2 tons of oil for you to do what you recommend that you might do if you're not going to try it. You see, you got to be. Do you think the male gay thing is confusion with the divine feminine? Well, that's not an easy question. It's not an easy question because it has been known all around the world. I think the Greeks, I think, did the perversion of it because the Greeks are the one that really started the real fraternities. If you look at, I believe it's Socrates that taught Alexander the Great. Again, this was a relationship through fraternities. And so in the Greek aspect of it, it was bringing in young boys to have these kind of relationships. That's why the term sodomy is really Greek. You know, you for pimps, they know that, you know, somebody says they want Greek, then you got to find a girl that is into that. That is a term that still applies today. I know Tasha gets into it. It's called a twin beam. So even here in the Americas, it has been a lifestyle. Little Big Man shows a beam. It's probably the first movie that shows the American a native of that. Because again, when they show the Crazy Horse character had to do everything opposite. If you watch Little Big Man, he was outcast. So his life was opposite. But they showed that kind of character that tended to the children and whatnot. Now we look at the agenda that's being passed now. And I go back into the sports things and in the bathroom things. And that is something that probably is wrong about it. You love who you love. I'm not saying this in a judgmental manner. You love who you love. And love is hard as hell. It ain't easy to find somebody you love. So you love who you love. Do I think people should be villainized and killed over that? Absolutely not. I don't think children should be taught that, though. I think let the children grow, and if that's what they grow into, then that's what they grow into. I don't think it should be pushed as much as it's pushed. And it's forced on people in some ways. So So I don't know. I can't say that people are confused. I don't think necessarily confused. People find people that they love. And once people find that, it seems like when they break up, they keep pursuing that. And people are attracted to what they're attracted to. And who are we to say? Again, I don't think it should be taught to young people. I think that's the perversion of it. Because love is love. And I'm not going to knock any kind of love. Like even my son, the relationship he's in, it works for him and his friend. His friend is just as battered. And I'll tell you, his friend is really battered, a really battered person. And so they take care of each other in ways that they're good. Because again, relationships ain't all about sex, as we all know. I mean, that's not out of the total relationship, sex isn't a great part of it, as far as day-to-day what we do. I think that's what people forget. So when you love someone, you get along. I mean, that's a lot of times what it is. Now, yes, people like you find that one relationship and people tend to keep looking. Again, people are attracted to what they're attracted to. And it's no knock. I'm not going to bash anyone that has any beliefs like that. That's that you love who you love. And you should never be ashamed of that. And I'm not ashamed of my son. That's just I don't share a lot of the family business. That's all. I'm not ashamed of him. In some ways, I do more for him than the others because he needs more help. So I mean, we tease him, but we his friend, he's just as involved. They both come stay when they come out here. That he's my son again. He spent 3 or 4 years out here, so he has a lot of friends out in this area I live. So they come out here and they stay with friends. They be out here. So can't really say. So it's more of lust, we love, conversion, because love is different. Right. You can find a hat. You can love a dog. You can love a hat. You can love a dog. There's a lot we don't understand about human sexuality. Yeah, I'll say that. You can love a hat. You can love a dog. So it's more of a lust versus love. I don't even know if it's lust. I can't even say it's lust. Because think of it like this. When you first date someone, the sex thing might not come up for like most people a month or two. So if it was just lust, you wouldn't even get the time to fill each other out or anything. You would just go right at it, you know? So I don't know if that's quite correct saying it's lust. I think what happens is people find out they have things in common with people. There's some kind of interest with each other, and there's some kind of connection. And so I'm not going to knock anyone's connection, because being a human is just hard damn enough. Finding love ain't easy for everybody. And so I can't say it's lust. No, I don't know. I can't say that I agree with that, because lust on real relationships don't happen just automatically. Because if it's lust, then you just go right at it the minute you see the person or beginning of the relationship. You don't take the time to spend time with this person. Because again, lust, you can lust after somebody and then you ain't spending time with them. But when that comes up again, and that doesn't last long. I mean, everybody can get a fuck buddy, but how long does a fuck buddy really keep you in a sustained relationship? It stays at that. I mean, if it's just lust and you just got a fuck buddy, that's what it stays at. It stays just at being a fuck buddy. Doesn't really necessarily turn into a full relationship. I mean, not many fuck buddies that you just saying that, we're going to live together. No, it stays at that. It stays at that level. So, trauma bonding. I don't know. I think we attach love to sex, and that's not just love. It's deeper than physical. Yeah. It's like what I was saying about me coming across people with the shots. The first time I got negative ping by a person with the shots was my doctor. And that, when they shut my video down before, I was talking about my doctor and her experience. And I don't know if it was some of them words, but again, I'll say this shit again. She told me she took the first poke. She was okay. Second poke, she said she shouldn't have worked the next couple of days. She said her co-worker was sick for about a month. Another doctor was sick for about a month. And my point. I forgot my point. But she was the first person that I was around that had it. And there was something off. So, and I had been wondering, as I've been moving around, I've been wondering why I've been getting these negative pings. But see, what happens is when you get with someone, there are a lot of different invisible things and energies that's filling each other out to make these kind of connections that we do. So there's a lot out there that's kind of connect. And I noticed her connection was weaker than I've ever met. And it's been my doctor for shit. My daughter is 7 or 8 years. She's been my doctor. And I could just feel that energy change. I could feel the energy change. So I've been getting hit like that. And I couldn't figure out what it was. And I thought about it, I was like, wait a minute, the doctor felt like that. And so I've been feeling it. I can tell people that's had the shots now. I'm getting that feeling. I've been walking around, going to the malls, doing business. I've been getting these pings, and I could not figure out why I'm getting these pings. Why am I feeling all this negative emotion for people? And then it hit me. It's like, these people done took the poke. So spiritually, there is something there There is something there spiritually that's taken away. Thank you for sharing about your son. I know that's tough for men. Yeah, it is. Some ways, yeah. So, and I've said all along that could we catch something from them? That has to be considered. Can we catch something from them? Is that really the way it's going to be spread? Is that they took that poison and are you open because you didn't take it and they took it? So I don't know. But spiritually I could feel it. Spiritually I could feel it. I could feel it was definitely something off between me and her. And I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know. And now the zombie shit is tied into that shit. It's the same here. I feel the energy around here changing bad from the people that, yeah, exactly, Preston. Exactly. It's something different. I was like, when she told me that shit, I was like, whoa, I don't even want to be exposed to you. That's kind of how I was feeling. My brother got right after my mom. They live in New York, and the whole time he worked and was good. That's what Corey Holcomb said. Corey said he had the shit and he was still traveling around. So I guess my brother had it. I got a younger brother. I guess he had it. I know my daughter's mother had it. And I guess she still has some back issues. And this shows you as zombies. As I said before, when you lose your taste and smell, that's a cancer patient. When my grandfather was dying of cancer, that was the first thing he said. He said, I don't even like eating. I said, why don't you like eating? He said, I can't taste the shit. I can't smell it. I can't taste it. And I've known other people that had cancer said the same thing. Now they saying this shit got it. Now think about it like this. One girl on my feed on Facebook said that it's been 3-4 months. She still can't taste and smell. Can you taste blood? Can you smell blood? Can you smell flesh? Because a zombie can only smell blood and flesh. And the other part is, and you ask them, anybody that gets this shit, like, okay, let's stay with the pokes. When people get them pokes, that second one, you know what happened? They get all sunken in here. What do all zombies have? What do all zombies have? Sunken eyes. And that is a trait of the zombie. The little video I spread, what did he say? The nano shit is 100 billionth of an inch. And remember, even on this channel, nanos now can jump, they can walk, they can roll, they can skip. And so you become a walking virus. I mean, already you can get your what do they call it? Oh, your birth control. Already you can be put on the schedule of the birth control. You get something inserted in you, and they release the birth control at a certain time every month. You ain't got to get pills. It's a computer does it and releases the shit in you. I don't know why people ever sign up for that, but that is around. Don't go to hospitals. This is some trippy shit, right? I'm avoiding the fuck out of hospitals. That's true. When my sister was being treated for breast cancer, she said she couldn't taste anything. There you go. My mom got the shot. My brother, wow. This was about a month ago. Okay. Well, my daughter's mother was okay. My brother, apparently, he had it last summer, but he's okay. And it was funny when I talked to my stepmom. She's like, watch out. Those Trumpsters are out there. And I just got to laugh. Because I am conservative. Again, I'm for guns. Any kind of way of taking motherfuckers' guns away, I'm against that shit. Whoever's spouting that shit. I am for guns. Now, my mother's like, you need to quit calling her sister girl and calling him Slow Joe. I call Trump Uncle Imbecile. All 4 years, he's been Uncle Imbecile to me. But he made some moves that he wasn't a warmonger. Yeah, he blew a couple motherfuckers up, but that was it. He wasn't a warmonger, and we about to go back into war. Because Biden, sister girl, come from Warhawks. There's no way to get around that. That is what they are about. And so this move is only, again, a Blackwater militia dude got killed. Not a U.S., maybe a U.S. citizen, but not a U.S. soldier. Who's getting paid handsomely. Let me say that. He was getting paid handsomely. His money, his family gonna get paid good. But he ain't in the army. He doesn't make money off our taxes. He don't get paid from our taxes. So you're telling me that is retaliation because a American civilian playing war got blowed the fuck up. And you know it wasn't that innocent. That motherfucker wasn't just sitting there playing cards every day. That's what they try to teach you. These motherfuckers is just, they're over there in Iraq, and he was just playing backgammon. He really had nothing to do with war anymore, and they dropped the bomb on him. Come on. Ain't nobody that naive. He was over there doing dirty tricks. And they got his ass. So does that mean I want to go to war? Do you know all the propaganda they do? Over there, over there, over there, over there. That's how they suckered motherfuckers in World War II. You know Pearl Harbor, how many of these motherfuckers signed up automatically? Motherfuckers had nothing to do with Pearl Harbor, didn't know the fuck where Pearl Harbor was. Pearl Harbor did not become a state until, Hawaii did not become a state until 1959. It was a territory. Now, I went back in time, motherfucker came and told me, they was like, man, they just fucked up Pearl Harbor. I looked at them, I'm like, okay, too bad. I feel bad for that shit that they happened, but what's that got to do with me? What the fuck they doing in Pearl Harbor? I start asking them kind of questions. Why are these motherfuckers over there in the first place? Well, the ships were there and they torpedoed them. Well, what about when they was talking about they was going to give an oil embargo on the Chinese or the Japanese? What happened when the Rockefellers didn't like the competition of the rubber from the Japanese? The Japanese kicked all the Europeans out of Asia, all the way to India. That's not really a bad thing. I don't know. I think I like these Japanese. They're the only ones that ever did that. They kicked the Europeans out of all of Asia. Who else did that? You see what I'm saying? What was Japan doing wrong? What was the word of Black Panther? They put all the colonizers out, which was mostly British, the English. They both went the whole year without COVID living. My brother got a promotion asking during hard. Wow. They're stealing resources and using their human batteries to do their bidding. Pretty much. It's like even getting into the Hitler shit. They killed the Catholic Tsar. They was killing Catholics. Hitler was the only one that fought those people. They may not like to hear it, but that's the fact. Bolsheviks were Jewish faith people. There's no way to get around that. That's who the Bolsheviks were. Lenin, Jewish faith. Stalin, Jewish faith. Trotsky, Jewish faith. Brezhnev, Jewish faith. Who was the little fat one? I can't even think of his name. The fat one that took over after Stalin. Who was the fat bald head one? I can't think of his name. But he, Jewish faith. He's in Enemies at the Gate. They show his character. They was killing their own people. If their people was like, fuck this, let's strategic retreat, they was killing them. Remember Enemies at the Gate? They was getting overrun by the Germans, so they tried to strategic retreat, and their own commanders was killing them, saying you can't retreat. Again, my email, eaglearethebomb@gmail.com. If anyone is really serious about getting together with other people that suffer from depression, I do want to open that up as a possibility. So if there's a group of people that like that, just email me and we'll set up a date, and we'll just be us. It won't be recorded or anything. It'll just be where we can all, because there's a way you can set this up where we're not recording and it's not going out. and it'd just be amongst ourselves. We could even do talk shoe the same way. Hell, nobody watches my talk shoe, so either or. So take that. Sunday, right now, I have a sister that supposedly going to join me, and it is going to be a show about definitely relationships and sexuality. So I always tease her that I want her to write a lot of my comedy because she comes up with some good things. So I'm going to have her on. I'm going to ask her some questions. If you guys want to ask her questions, we probably going to come on earlier because she does work. So it won't be midnight. Whatever she said Sunday, I haven't got a time from her. So the waking one, I called her. She called me back, and she called me. I was in the bathroom, and I came back, and I started calling. She didn't answer. So I'll try to have her back in. I'm gonna try to bring Brother James back in. Community Splash. I'm gonna reach out to Sly, see if he wants to come over. And so moving forward. Again, you see, I'm never locked into one thing, never just serious. It's never just like I'm serious and fire and brimstone, because that's not balance. It's all about balance. The information has to be balanced. And so that's what I feel. I try to get a balanced kind of ideas out there. So what time is it? Oh, fuck. Yeah, I went a little longer. Well, this was my full moon edition. I thank everybody. Soldiers are expendable in the military. Yes, they definitely are. That's sad. Is the Jewish faith people a bloodline or a brotherhood? They claim it's a bloodline, but it's not really. I'll say this, though. Ancestral production tries to show how again, they say the DNA shit, and that they say the Ashkenazi Jews, Jewish faith people, once were in Africa and went up there. I don't believe that. I don't believe that part. Those people come from somewhere else. That heeds to that. He's a Pan-African, but his information is good. I look over that he's a Pan-African. Again, I use my discernment. But but those people. Most of the people they call the Ashkenazi Jews, Jewish faith, were stuck between Christians and Muslims. So they found a way not to take a side. They stole another religion to stay neutral. But Islam and Jewish faith is pretty close to the same thing. Christian Islam. Why is the Pope dressed like Jewish faith people? You notice that? It's the same thing. So what we have in the Vatican, well, look at the history. It was Jewish faith that started Christianity. Well, the Jewish, the Jesus they talk about was Jewish faith. So you see, it's not. So it's the same. It really is. If you look at Islam and you look at Jewish faith, it's a lot of the same thing. They may say it's different, but it's a lot of the same thing. Because they don't want to tell you that most Islamic states pay the Pope. They don't want to tell you that. Yeah, you wouldn't think that's a thing, huh? But let me say this again, most Islamic countries still pay the Pope. So, I know that's off the subject where I missed it, James. What do you think, Jesse Lee Peterson, your opinion on him? What do you think about Jesse Lee Peterson and Nick? I need a little more. Got to kiss the proper ass. I need a little background. I'll look it up. Save you. I don't know that name offhand. Should even come up. Oh, here we go. Oh. Okay. This dude, I've always thought he's spray painted. It's a lot of fake in this dude. His complexion, I mean, tell me that don't look like somebody spray painted. That don't look real. That does not look real. Ever since I would come across him, I thought that this ain't real. This ain't real. That's some movie shit right there. That's some movie shit. Yeah, that's some movie shit about him. That's a fake person. That's what I've always thought. Now I don't know who the Nick is, but I've always thought that. I don't think he real. Now I don't know who Nick is. Nick Peterson. Here we go. Okay, all right. They're brothers. What? Who is he? He was on. Okay, they're brothers. That's his brother. What do you think about Jesse Lee Peterson and Nick? I don't know nothing about Nick Peterson. I don't know nothing about him. Says he was eliminated from The Bachelor. He looks like a wax figure. Yeah, that other cat though, that other cat, I never thought he was real. The few times I've watched him, whatever the fuck he was on, I'm like, oh, that's not a real person. And that picture shows that's a manufactured person. Yeah, I didn't. I couldn't tell you any what he talks about or anything. I've come across him, but I've always thought that he's a fake looking person. I've always thought that, and that's not cap. So, and Nick Peterson, I really don't know who he is. I was saying you could have Nick on the show. I was saying you could have Nick on the show. Okay. Why would I want Nick on the show, Valerie? oh, oh my goodness. And you know, guys, I was gonna try to do it tonight. I was gonna try to do the jade thing tonight. And I was gonna try to wear this, and this shit is heavy as hell. This is a pound or two of jade. I mean, this shit is the most solid piece of jade that you could ever find. And it's heavy. I used to try to wear this shit, but it's like when I wear my Virgil, that shit's heavy on my neck. And this shit, I tried to wear it, but it's just this is a solid piece of jade. Again, look, this is they trim this out of, and I don't know the age of it. It has the earrings here, so I couldn't tell you how old this is, but it's just too heavy on the neck. So yeah, I couldn't do it. This is very heavy. I couldn't do it tonight, guys. Well, I better cut this short because this boy wants to get up at 10, and we do have some moving around to do. Thank you for joining me on this full moon edition. Again, for those of you who want to manifest, there will be 3 days after today. I know there will be a lot of strong energies tomorrow night. I will be back tomorrow night for sure. Sunday, again, you might want to look for me earlier because I know my friend works. I'm bringing her in, and I should have some fun with her. Cut her a little slack. This is new to her because she was like, "Well, how am I supposed to talk to you? And you live in Minnesota." And I'm like, "Honey, I'll send you the link." I kind of giggled when she said that. She's like, "You don't live in Michigan. How can we talk?" I'm like, "Honey, I'll send you the link and we'll do it." But so cut her some slack because she might be a little nervous, but she's funny, and we'll get a lot of relationship talk. So thank you. The name is Jesse Lee. Dick Taylor. Much love. Well, thank you, Preston. Again, this is the Chocolate Mountain Show. Thank you, everybody who joined me tonight. Again, I don't have much to offer, but just a way to kind of use these sounds to raise your vibration during this time of receiving was given, and the moon is giving something. It's not going to change our lives tomorrow, but each time you observe it, there's a little bit more in your battery pack. So I am 8 Wind is timeless. I am the Time Lord. I am a time walker. And as you always know, I always end with Eshan's rap or his poem. I'm not a New York rapper or LA gangbanger. I'm just an old school Detroit crack slinger. I'm definitely not going to heaven. That's why I always carry my big and powerful 357. This has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am 8 Wind is timeless. Thank you, everyone. Till we meet again.